What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How's everybody doing? Episode 258. We're here. Another awesome Saturday, man. Hope everybody's hanging out, having fun, jumping in with us once again. All the information down in the description below. Appreciate you guys always hanging out with us every Saturday, just hanging out, kicking it. We always got fire guests here. We always got fire chat. Shout out to everybody in chat. What's up, Blue? Stop with the fraud and Blue. All right, it's too early for that. What's up, Sean Sue, Modern of the Year? We appreciate everybody jumping in. What's up, Go Poe? Everybody hanging out with us, man. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't need to tell you guys that at this point, man. Shout out to everybody watching live. Run that link. Let everybody know we're live here at the Shop Podcast. This is where you get that weekend gaming fix. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you for all the support, man. We're going to dive right in here. We got a lot to talk about. It's been a busy week, as it's been pretty much all summer. Let's go ahead and give it over to our guest, man. This man does not really need any introductions. Been on the show before, a veteran in the podcast game. the half, I don't want to say the better half because I will insult Pong. half of Living Spit. I would never say that about Pong. Never. Absolutely. Pong is an absolute gem.
But, I'm right here.
Uncanny gentleman right there.
Yeah, but some in the chat might say cap, but I love Pong. Appreciate you, man. But shout out to you still hanging out with us, man. We got an awesome guest, Still Rain. Let everybody know where they can find you. How you been, brother?
It is I am him, the one and only Still Rain and PTK, back into the Shop Podcast Kingdom. Look, man, it's always a beautiful thing when you send an invite out, and like I've told you before, if I got some time and everything lines up perfectly, I'm definitely got to be here, man. So appreciate you for inviting me on. And I know a lot of people said it's a dead week, that there might not be too much to go on. If you have too long of a show, you might be a little crazy. Well, I guess I'm the definition of insanity, along with my brother over here underneath to the right, however you want to look at it. Because gaming is a passionate thing. We're talking about everything that's going on in the industry. And PTK, it looks like you still got some topics lined up for us. So I think we're going to have a good time here, man. Again, greatly appreciate you all. Fuzzy, Pong, you already know what it is. So let's get to it.
Appreciate you, Mr. Still Rain. You guys know what we do. Every guest here, we show love and support because they take the time to come out, entertain us, have fun, do this game and stuff. We appreciate all the support. So run them likes up. Appreciate Still Rain. All his information down in the description as well. Go follow him everywhere. Show that love, support. You know what we do here at the Shop Podcast. Now I got to turn this over to the two fantastic men that make me look good every single week, and I appreciate these gentlemen very much. So we'll start with Mr. Pong. Harvey, how you been, man? How this week's been going?
Yeah, it's been one hell of a crazy week in real life. But other than that, it's great to be back here on a Saturday night on the Shop Podcast with a special guest, none other than my brother from another, Still Rain, who I've had the pleasure of spending about 6-7 hours with today so far, between gaming and podcasting. So his voice it's just natural in my ear at this point. I almost think that my wife sounds like him sometimes.
Oh,
anyways, listen, this is going to be a great night. We still got a lot to talk about. It was a slower news week, gaming wise, but still some interesting stuff happening around this industry, obviously coming off of Gamers Christmas, but it's fantastic to see everybody in the chat. Fantastic to see you, PTK, and of course Fuzzy as well, man. This is what I look forward to every week. So let's get down to it, PTK.
Let's get it in. Appreciate you once again. Always Duracell battery of the podcast, Mr. Pong Soul, man. Show some love and support to Pong as well, like you guys do every single week. Shout out to What Just Stanley. Appreciate you guys. Blue, thank you for hanging out, brother. We're gonna turn this over, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, the smooth operator. We appreciate you, bro. How's your week been? How's everything going?
Going pretty good. Been dabbling in the I guess you could say Forza versus GT7 streets a bit, but other than that, having fun on the Steam Deck. Got Game Pass on there now.
Oh yeah.
So just burning up the battery on that thing, having fun, man. Just I can't wait until later on this year because I think we heard about some October drops, and just man, it's going to be crazy closer to the holiday.
Oh yeah. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna go over that. So Fuzz gave you a little sneak peek behind the curtain. So once again, before we get started, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. You guys are all amazing. Kick your feet up. All right. Hey, have fun in the chat. All right. Appreciate you guys. So let's get started here. We start with the poll of the week every single week, man. Shout out to you guys. Everybody that votes on the poll, you guys are awesome. You guys follow me on Twitter. That's where the poll drops every Monday. Okay, you generally in the morning time. So if you're up early, I try to do it early. So, the East Coast time difference. I want to make sure everybody gets the opportunity to vote on it. So shout out to everybody who actually go and do that. The poll of the week this week. So I said, what would be the bigger crossover collaboration? And I always like to do this kind of stuff because it always kind of gives me a general idea, where the pulse of the community is at. So I gave a couple options: Fortnite, Minecraft, GTA, Spider-Man, and then Starfield, Halo. Looks like the majority, Starfield, Halo, ran away with it. I think Pong will be absolutely thrilled with the results this week. So I don't think there's going to be any debate or discussion, right, Pong? I don't think
not true. But let's go.
Oh my goodness! Wait a. I can't look. I can't. All right, we'll go ahead and get started.
We'll get started.
We'll get started with Steel
opinion.
Rain. We'll get started. So go ahead, Mr. Steel Rain. Out of those options, maybe there wasn't an option up there that you would have chose, brother.
No, I mean the most obvious answer is, of course, is going to be anything that has the name Halo involved in it. And then coming off the heels of Starfield, I mean the two just make sense, right? I would love to be able to pull up to a Halo ring in Starfield in my own personal ship, possibly running with some Spartans or something. I think that would be really dope to see. Again, I'm all about
an Easter egg in Starfield. Maybe an Easter egg. Halo Easter egg.
That would be dope. Maybe that's why they delayed it. No, but I think that would be super dope. Maybe even creating like the Pelican or something like that. I do have a thing for guys in suits. Pause. So more guys in suits that we could put in the game, I guess the better.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Once again, it was a landslide. It's like 70% of the vote voted Starfield Halo. We'll go ahead. Actually, I will get to Pong last. We'll get to because I think So we'll get to Pong last. I definitely want to hear that interesting take. But we're gonna roll this over to you, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. Was the option up there for you, or maybe you had a different collab?
There wasn't really an option for me, and I don't think that anything other than like the current Hot Wheels, and Forza mix is going to be anything bigger as far as like when it comes to racing stuff. But like I was just thinking from like a global standpoint, like Fortnite and Minecraft. I don't really play either of them other than like Minecraft Dungeons, but I know there are a ton of people that do, and I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been like a Minecraft skin in Fortnite or something to that effect. And I know some people have done mods of almost like a battle royale of Minecraft. So I think at some point the planets will align and there will be some sort of collaboration between the two. For me, with the other options that are out there, Starfield and Halo, that would be a pretty cool one as well. Maybe find some rings out there in space type of thing. But when it comes to GTA and Spider-Man, people are already doing that with some of the mods on PC.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's going to be a while before we get a GTA 6. So I completely push that one off to the side. But I voted Fortnite and Minecraft just because millions of people on both IPs. So.
And it would easily have the biggest fan base. Not even close, right? Like you're talking about like half a billy between the both of them, somewhere in that range between the both of them, as far as like fan base, monthly users, or I don't even know if that's yearly. That might be monthly, right? Still, or Pong, that might be monthly. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's monthly for sure. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, chat, man, these collabs. Once again, Halo Starfield ran away with it, but there were some cool other options. Now I'm interested, Pong, to kind of see where you would go. If I missed something, what did I leave out? Like, what's going on here?
Keep your Master Chief out of my Starfield.
Oh my God! Listen,
here he goes.
Listen. We don't
need
none of that Halo in my Bethesda title. Okay, Todd isn't having anything to do with this. This is NASA punk. All right, we don't need no Halo up in there. I don't need
Field. Let's go.
No, we don't need any of that garbage. I can't believe you put that down.
Oh, Halo
Field. Starfield before it comes out. Jesus.
I did not listen. Chat, I did not. That was the furthest reaction that I expected from. I thought I nailed this topic. I thought I nailed it. Look at the vote, Pong. Look at the vote.
You know he's gonna find something wrong with it.
No, because you got a big Xbox community following. Of course, they're gonna vote for that. Okay, of course. Would it be big? Of course. because the Halo people would finally have something to play out there, right?
Oh,
That's what would be going on.
He's over here trying to hurt people's feelings now. Oh my God.
Don't mix my Starfield with any of that nonsense. All right. Anyways, listen. Biggest peer. Again, you sometimes you got to put a definition in your polls of the week because I don't know what you mean by bigger, right? Okay. In terms of just pure number of players, of course it's Fortnite and Minecraft. That's easy. Like that would be like the biggest crossover ever between those two fan bases. That would be ridiculous. And I think both fan bases probably most of them would be happy with that crossover. It'd be kind of cool, actually, if you think about it. Even though I don't play either one of them, it still would be a cool concept. In terms of just pure hype, Spider-Man going into GTA Online and just Spider-Man superheroes in general going to GTA Online with that player base, that would be pretty big. The people looked at that Superman mod that somebody did on the PC for GTA, and people were going nuts for it. I can't imagine if you said you were dropping Spider-Man in the GTA line, although it would be kind of ridiculous because everybody would just be playing Spider-Man. You'd have a million Spider-Mans.
Well, didn't they mention there's some mods? I don't know how.
Yeah, there's mods. There's PC mods.
I don't know how good, you know what I mean? As far as
the Superman one is phenomenal.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That was phenomenally done. So I'm sure there's some really good ones out there, but just pure size though, I definitely would go Fortnite in Minecraft. That would be the biggest crossover ever. Those two franchises ever rolled in together and created something. It would be crazy. It would be crazy. That'd be so cool.
And like you said, I think the key thing about that, I think the two fan bases wouldn't even mind. And generally that's not the case, right? That's usually not the case. So please don't, that's trying to merge like Mario and Sonic. Like people just that would never go over well. Although I think they happened in the same game before, have they? No, I don't know.
Yeah, they got the Olympic sport game.
The Olympic sport game,
I think that's really the main one that they've been in.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know how opposed people were to that, but if you try to put them in like a, some type of like actual, I think a lot of people would be opposed to that.
I mean, you would be opposed because the better character in Sonic is next to Mario, so you'd expose Mario.
Sega Kid. Sega Kid. Okay, you fit well here still.
Yeah, you didn't see Neil's tweet this morning?
No, I did not.
He dropped in our chat this morning while Steele was talking about if he had the Infinity Stones that Mario would be gone because he doesn't.
Wow.
So he put that out there to tweet.
Out of here.
Still,
he'd be out of here. I don't even need him.
Wow,
he is completely irrelevant. We already got a guy that can run and do platform stuff. That's Sonic, and they can do it quick. He can turn into a ball. He has a cast of characters that are more enjoyable and have deeper depth than a princess. That just is too much of a lack of a better term, a bitch. So just keep getting captured by this dinosaur. No, we need something better.
Oh my goodness, this is going. I did not expect this today, chat. So shout out to everybody watching live. I don't know where we going. We went from him, Thanos, and freaking Mario. This is ridiculous. But it is okay. I am a Sega kid myself. I get it. We cutting up out here. Shout out chat. What's up, Zinc? We need those hot takes. Okay, we need those hot takes. We didn't get very many last week. I think Pong was a bit disappointed. So we
usually
the hot takes.
He had a couple. He had a couple last week. He never fails. There's always something that catches his attention. So let's go.
Shout out to Zinc, man. Show love and support. He's here every week, man. So appreciate all you guys. Once again, hit the like button, man. We have him here. Fun here, cutting up. As we do here at the Shop Podcast, man. We about 15 minutes in. We already got the wheels greased. So we appreciate you guys hanging out, man. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Once again, shout out to everybody who voted on that poll of the week every single Monday, man. So we're talking a little bit about something that really hasn't been talked about much. I assume will be soon. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the possible upcoming, PlayStation showcase. When, what time, not what time, but when, like, what are we going to see? Any expectations? Obviously, I think these questions are going to come around at some point. And chat, obviously, let us know how you guys feel about this. We'll start with you, Still Rain. Like, I don't know how much has come up. We know at some point something's going to happen. They're going to have a show. We don't know if they're pushing things. Actually, didn't they come out? No, that was on a particular game. That was on a certain game. They said it was I can't remember what game specifically. They said we're going to talk about it until next year. But where are you at on a possible PlayStation showcase? You know, we haven't talked about this much, haven't really seen it too much in the community. So kind of get the ball rolling here, man. Any expectations on when they're going to announce this, what you want to see?
As far as when they're going to announce it, man, we got the snitch right now on Twitter that's kind of become famous for bringing out some leaks, man. He brought up some things about, I believe, Kojima's game before it was ever announced or whatever the case, which is possibly why it never got shown during these showcases. Where at Jeff Keighley's show, but he came out with the hitting number with the God of War. Kratos just nodding his head with the sign for 1110. Especially that's code for 30, and people are now running with that. There could be a potential showcase on the 30th of this month. Me and Pong kind of talked about it this morning. That lined up with a Thursday, and if that's the case, hey, I mean, Pong mentioned earlier this morning that's usually when they do those types of things. I've kind of been out of the PlayStation loop, so it's kind of, I mean, of course, I'm low-key paying attention, whatever the case, but as far as when they could actually end up doing, I mean, you got to announce God of War at some point. Are you going to release it this year or are you not? We need to get an official date. Corey Barlog has reactivated his Twitter. People are hype and excited about that. He's been seemingly teasing some things, so things are definitely lining up that way. I'm not in that camp just because I think it's be a prime opportunity to release the game on PC also day and date, since it is rumored to be just an extension of the first game. And I just don't like the whole the premise behind how they're doing that whole thing. But either way,
yeah.
As far as like, well, yeah. Anyway, they may end up doing something specifically for that, like they did with Horizon Forbidden West. I mentioned that this morning. Or sometime in August. Again, it's so unfortunate that E3 isn't like it used to be, or this time of the year isn't like it used to be, because you got that back and forth with Xbox and PlayStation. Those are the main two you were looking for. Nintendo is more so, there's Nintendo. So you kind of had that back and forth and opened up the conversation like, damn, look at these different games that they announced, and Xbox did this and PlayStation did this, and we don't get that now. So it's kind of hard for me to be excited about events, and I've never been the one to look too far in the future. The main thing that I'm excited for right now is Spider-Man coming to PC, because I originally beat the game in 2018 in the hardest difficulty that was available, but I hadn't played any of the DLC that dropped after. I got rid of my PS4 at the time. Again, when I don't use something for too long, maybe it's just because the way I was raised, whatever the case, I let stuff go. If somebody else needs it, I'll be like, hey, I don't even use it. So it was one of those scenarios. So I'm thoroughly looking to jump back into that, especially with the mods that are going to be available on PC. People are about to go insane with the mods on PC for Spider-Man. I think it's going to blow up again. Other than that, it's not really much else. I do want to see them possibly jump into that JRPG bag a little bit more. I'm more of a action-based combat kind of guy. So if they can release some of those, something like that. There's a game that I'm thinking of, and I can't think of the name. Pong, maybe you'll be able to think of it because we were both interested in it when we saw it. No, of course, I'm hyped for Forspoken. Forspoken is interesting for sure. That's kind of day one for me right now. But no, it's the one with the chick, and
hey, you gotta give me more than that.
Yeah, I know. It's like the chick, and she got the alien in the beginning, the big ass alien like kind of planet kind of thing that she was fighting. It's in space. It was real over the top. Had like a bayonetta kind of feel.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name though.
I know what you're talking about too.
I hate that I think because the name I keep.
But they've only shown it once or twice.
Right.
But let us know, Chad, if you guys know what we're talking about.
It's like a Devil May Cry Bayonetta style game.
Yeah, and it's in space. You got some space action. There's a lot of aliens and stuff in it. It's over the top. It's right there. I'll come up with it here in a bit. But that's another one that I'm really looking forward to, because another one of that showcase crazy ones that I put out there was that Bayonetta was going to somehow come to Xbox. I would just love to see a lot of that kind of mix and match kind of thing go on. But that's neither here or there. But yeah, I'd like to see PlayStation announce something like that, because there has been some rumors that they could possibly have that locked up some way, have maybe use that as a timed exclusive. So I think like Paul mentioned earlier, Forspoken is definitely another one that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
For PlayStation thus far. So
okay. All right, awesome. I don't know what happened to because for a long while there I heard about like they had like maybe BioShock or something, and I don't even know whatever happened to that. So I don't know if you had heard about that, Pong. I'm pretty sure you might even mention that, right?
What
There
new
was like a
BioShock?
rumor, yeah, about like
Yeah.
BioShock and PlayStation, like them having
Yeah,
exclusive.
there was a rumor about that. I don't know how true that is. Again, it would
Yeah,
be probably more marketing rights.
yeah,
I don't think that they would. I don't think Ken Levine would jump into a exclusivity deal with PlayStation per se. I think he wants his games out there, and BioShock's too big. I think that if he is truly making another one, that it will be multi plat. So I definitely think that.
okay. All right. No, obviously, you never know what happens, but I remember that mention, quite
Yeah,
a while
yeah,
ago.
I remember
So
that smoke too at one point.
yeah, that was pretty strong. And once again, it kind of just
Steel,
yes.
that game is Project Eve.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Project
yeah.
Eve. Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I couldn't remember if it was still Project Eve or if they ended up changing the name. I felt like they did, but no, yeah, Project Eve is the exact game that I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
perfect. Yep.
Okay. All right. No, once again, it's interesting to see because the table is kind of clear for PlayStation to kind of just show, kind of do their thing, right? Like, they're kind of obviously I don't think any of us here think they're in a bad spot, so to say. They kind of control their own destiny at this point. I would, I think everybody here would agree. They're just kind of where they need to be. And now, do you have an idea? You said late. What was the date? You said 30th. Possibly
June 30th.
June 30th. Okay.
Yeah. So here in the next 5 days, possibly, man. It lands on a Thursday. That's kind of the rumors are going right now, man. And well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Monday right around the corner. So you never know. We'll get an announcement here. So
yeah,
we'll actually throw this over to you, Fuzz, and shout out to chat too, man. OG TK Cole, appreciate showing up here to support Fuzz. Gogol Cole, appreciate you as well, man. Everybody hanging out in the chat. What's up, Asante? Okay, Asante hanging out with us, man. Gaming Circle Podcast. Shout out to Everborn as well. What's up, Bacon Life? Appreciate you, man. Hanging out with us, man. We have so much fun here. You guys always hanging out. Hit the like button. Thank you guys so much. So we're gonna actually throw this over to you, Fuzz. Just kind of get your opinion, on what's going on with PlayStation, kind of where you're at, with what they're doing, and just obviously I don't know if you saw. I know Steele mentioned the tweet that came out and was revealed. So I don't know. And taking
snitch,
taking that into account, I don't know if that leans you really in any direction or not.
I think there's something to it, although he has deleted some of his tweets that didn't pan out, but for the most part, he's been pretty spot on some stuff. So it's either the 30th or maybe 30 days from now, one or the other. I was hoping it would meant like 11/11/22, for that smoke. But outside of that, I hope there's something, come June 30th. But I was always kind of under the impression it would be like a late July, early August for like a PlayStation event or something like that, because around that time they'd be ready to drop Stray, and I think they have like one other smaller title that's coming out, and it'd be a good time to kind of do a deeper dive into like God of War, because I'm hearing rumors that they're crunching hard over there, so I got a feeling that it's still going to land before the end of this year. But I think they got some more stuff to show. There's some I don't know, less credible things floating around as far as like maybe some hardware stuff. Although I think there is a Sony hardware event somewhere. I don't know. I don't think it's a mainstream type of thing gearing for gaming, but it'd be nice to see a portable, almost like a portable PlayStation device again. But I hope they do something at least by August. But fingers crossed the snitch is on point, and that June 30th is a real thing, and we'll find out soon enough, because Sony likes to give you like maybe a 2 to 4 day heads up before they have the actual show. So
generally.
But I hope they have something soon, because I know they've been quiet and they got some stuff in the chamber type of deal.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I want to hear more about Pragmata. That's like the big one, the Capcom game that only gets shown at PlayStation events. Capcom doesn't even talk about it type of deal. And it just looks like something I can't wait to get into type of deal. But we'll see next week. Fingers crossed.
Man, shout out to chat. Sante did mention they do still have to show off the PSVR 2. That is true. That's a great point.
Yeah.
That is something that they do need to do. So with that in mind, Mr. Pong, so take it away. Take it away, brother. You got this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely see a state of play coming, and I do believe the June 30th date. Again, that smoke started before the snitch even came out and did what he did.
Right.
There was some little bit of rumor that they were going to do something at the end of the month that makes complete sense if God of War is due this year, which I have been on that hill forever. That God of War was going to bookend and Horizon and GT and then come out at the end of the year. So I definitely think it's going to be that. Fuzz, I still think that our 11/11/22 date is still in play.
Yes.
I do not put it past them to do that. October is absolutely jam-packed right now, with especially at the end of the month with Modern Warfare 2 coming out. Not that God of War isn't any competition with those, but definitely November is a nice spot. I could see them even pushing to December, early December as well. If the team needs a little bit more time, but I definitely think 11/11/22 is in play. I want to see it happen. I think it'll be absolutely hilarious. Again, petty Sony is a good Sony. That competition, like Steele was talking about, we don't get it at the E3s anymore. So a little gut punch here to Xbox would be fantastic. So I'm all down for that. So I definitely think June 30th, God of War gets shown off, and then gets announced. Whether or not they show anything else, I don't think so at that show. I think that will be a strict God of War only show. They will give that all the limelight with, ending on a release date, probably 10-15 minutes of gameplay. I would not doubt it. At least that's my thought. And then I think that we do get a showcase. I do think that Sony has a showcase towards the end of the year, or towards the fall, sometime September-ish, probably somewhere in that neighborhood, where they start selling us hopes and dreams. And that includes PSVR 2. That includes games that might be further out, 2023, 2024, even maybe a 2025 teaser for something that they have going on. They're going to have to start showing these games as a service games that are coming.
Yeah, all those third-party games.
Yeah. They got a ton of third-party deals. So I definitely think they do a bigger showcase this year. And I definitely think it comes around fall time. It just makes perfect sense to do so. Give us some updates on things that we have not seen for a while, like Steele brought up Project Eve and that kind of stuff that they have marketing rights to. And I think it's a lot. I think they've got a lot to show, more so than a state of play would cover, right? So I definitely think they go showcase. I definitely think we get a good 45 minutes to an hour showcase from them. I don't think they'll do a 2-hour show, but maybe if they're really going to deep dive PSVR 2, they might. But I think more like an hour-long show would fit right in, right around that September time, and get everybody hyped, with people knowing that they were only, a couple months away from getting God of War in their hands. The PlayStation community is going to be frothing at the mouth, so it's going to be a perfect time to drop that and give us those hopes and dreams on top of things. So for sure.
Well, if you leave it up to Pong, he's dropping everything. Pong is giving up the bag. Like, he's giving you the next 10 years, right, Pong?
Which means it'll be all wrong.
Yeah.
If I was running the ship,
you the keys,
yeah, just like Phil. Yeah, no, I would give the whole generation roadmap as it stands right now. Hell yeah. I'd have code names up there. I would have ideas. I'd be showing people, like, I'd be like, oh yeah, Obsidian just drew up this little sketch. This is a game that's probably going to come out in 2028. I'd have that up there. That's what I would be doing.
Stirring the pot, man. Jesus Christ. So we want to make sure we get everybody in on this one, though, man. So Fuzz.
No, you got me already.
Okay, want to make sure. All right, cool. Want to make sure we got everybody in on that one, man. So once again, chat, let us know how you guys feel about that, man. This PlayStation event is coming up. When is it going to drop? What are you guys expecting? Kind of what's going. What do you guys think they're going to show? What do they need to show? Is it going to be just a state of play for God of War? How many people are actually on the boat with God of War coming out this year? There's been a lot of reports, both sides of the fence. Some saying, there's a lot going on. I have heard that they're crunching and really pushing hard as well. So I did hear that too, Pong. So I can kind of, back that up essentially. We obviously don't know if it's true, but, I assume they're trying to get that thing out this year, because that'd be a huge drop this year. Whether it comes out on 11/11/22 or not, it's still going to be a big deal. So I'm ready for it. So actually, let's move on to the next topic. And this is actually a really fun one. You guys know what we do here at the Shop Podcast. I like throwing these ideas out here, kind of getting people brain moving, talking about these games, things that aren't really covered, things that aren't talked about. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the top 3 under the radar games. And we're going to give our list. And once again, chat, you guys can give your list about the top 3 underrated games. Now, underrated, right, comes in many different shapes and forms. That's really depending on your, perspective. So, you put your list together, give us the top 3 in chat as well. You know what we do. We're
Okay.
going to
PTK real quick. Chat saying my mic's fading in and out. So I just adjusted a couple things. So chat, let me know if I'm still fading in and out.
No, you're a lot
You're
better
good
now.
now. You're a lot better now. Yeah,
okay.
good.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You're good. So
for some reason, SteamYard turned back on the echo canceling and the automatic mic adjust freaking volume. So sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good. Appreciate you, man. Thank
All
you,
right.
chat,
Yep.
man. Appreciate that. So, all right. So once again, let us know. You guys got to, we went through this pregame, so we had a little bit of time. All of us did a little bit of research, put together 3 games. So we'll see how you guys can let us know what you guys think about our list as well. So you guys can let us know. Be honest about what you think. So we're gonna start with you. We're gonna put your feet to the fire, still, Rain. You've been here before. You've been here before. We need to see that list. Top 3 underrated games. Let us know why as well.
Top 3 underrated games that I have
under the radar. Sorry, not underrated. Under the radar. I'm sorry.
Underrated, under the radar. Okay, under the radar. For me, it's gonna be these 3 specifically. So I'm gonna start off with one that's actually releasing in August. A lot of people may be sleeping on this because you may not be a mech fan, and that's all right. But I'm gonna have to run with SD Gundam Battle Alliance. It's going to be a co-op combat-based mech game. It's going to have all the different Gundams from different generation in there. They're mixing some things up, kind of doing this future past kind of thing, where you can go in time, do different battles, correct the future, correct the past, whatever the case, correct the past to save the future kind of idea. So that's looking super dope for those who may not be interested. Those who do have some interest, definitely check out SD Gundam Battle Alliance. I believe it was. Did they show it at a show? No, they didn't show it at a showcase, but the Gundam Network essentially had their own kind of showcase that they kind of show what they were going to do for the year or whatever. So that's where it was announced at. There's another
on everything, correct?
Yes, it is going to be on everything. It's going to be on all platforms. So it definitely is one of those to check out. So another one for me is going to be this one. I'm just super curious about. It is going to be Power World. Power World is seemingly the game, and that's supposed to be coming out this year. Because there's some other ones I got in there, but it's kind of like a Pokemon game, but the difference is you get a gun. So you get to shoot these. You get to shoot these monsters. Not only can you capture them, but you can shoot them too. You can ride on the back of them and shoot them. You can fly on some of them and shoot off of them. So it looks like it's doing a lot of things differently. It looks extremely fun. It's over the top. It's so different that I'm questioning it, and that's making it even more curious to me. So I'm not sure if it's releasing on all consoles. I believe Power World may only be on PC. I'm gonna double check on that, but it may be because it's kind of borderline almost Pokemon. I'm surprised they haven't been flagged for it yet.
Oh wow,
but it's more in that Arceus style where you get to run around and everything else, and it has much better graphics, of course, because every other game is going to have better graphics because Nintendo doesn't care. But my last one is going to be one that was also shown at the Future Game Show. The rumors are on it. It's supposed to be come out this year. I think it said it's currently on a wish list. But this one's only going to be for Steam specifically. And it's a game called Morbid Metal. It's another hack and slash. Basically, in the trailer that was shown at the Future Game Show, and I think this is the first time that he showed the trailer. It's made by a single indie dev named Felix Shade. Check him out. It's Felix spelled with a PHOELIX. Actually, I think the E ends up being the 3, whichever the case. He's a single dev. He's doing this over-the-top Devil May Cry style, and it's actually a lot more than that. The character itself turns into different characters, right? It's like when you're doing a combo, you want to switch it up and use a different fighting style, you can do it on the move, on the fly, boom, right there. And it's a super interesting concept. I think he only showed 3 characters, and there's a 4th one to be announced when the game gets ready to be released. So that's another one that's on the top of my list for me. Okay. And if you guys haven't seen Morbid Metal, definitely check it out. Again, I think the Future Game Show did it a lot of justice. The music was on tempo, the gameplay was on point, and it's the perfect representation of why I'm so excited about it. So Those would be my three.
Okay, so that's a good list. Some left field, and I like that. That's why we do this, chat. That's why we do this to get that. Because there's some games I hear about from everybody else, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me go check the trailer out because I need to see what's going on. Because I missed it. I missed some of the shows, the events this year, so I gotta make sure I write some of these down for sure. So I guess I'll go ahead and just go over my list real quick, just to get it out the way here. I do have one, chat. So let me get to it here. So first one I got is actually Evil West, still slated to come out this year. And obviously, there's a few people in chat already that I saw in chat saying, "Hey, Evil West is on the list." So look, hey, that damn game, the last gameplay I seen, oh my goodness, that's right up my alley, man.
Yeah, man,
right up my alley.
It's got a lot of good things going for it. I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Good vibes, man. Graphically, it looks amazing. The gunplay is amazing. It just, man, the gore. I love the gore, man. That is amazing, bro. Like. It just looks like a fun game, super fun game. I don't think there's a release window. I think we talked about this pre-game. I don't even think there's a release window as of right now on that game. And then we got Plague's Tale Requiem. Another game I think that from Asobo, obviously. You got the flight simulator.
Under the radar. What are we doing here? These are like major games here. Come on.
I was waiting to see where
you waited till the last minute to do your homework, and you created the homework. For God's sakes, man. Come on.
It's terrible. You're getting called out in the middle of the show every single week. This is ridiculous. So I don't even know. So go ahead, Fuzz. See, this is ridiculous.
What was your next one? I got to hear your last one. Come on now.
It was Atomic Heart.
Yeah. Okay.
Atomic Heart is that one's definitely under the radar, and
a little bit. A little bit.
Well, that one's on my list. Atomic Heart is on my list. High on Life, I still consider that underrated. Like I know a lot of people, got to see it for the first time at the Xbox show, but High on Life is that game that I think is just, it's going to be like that stupid fun game you just like shooting stuff and just play for hours to no end type of thing. But for me, Atomic Heart, from the minute I saw that thing, like almost like, what is it, like I forget what the other game is that it's kind of like loosely based on, but the like future Russian aesthetic type of deal. I like that with the plant robots and like regular or I guess you'd say armatrons or animatron type robots.
It's got Fallout to it. It's got some BioShock to it. It's got a little bit. Yep.
So all of that mixed together, that's definitely one that's on the list. But I know I'm probably going to catch heat on this one because a lot of people are like, what the hell is this game and all that stuff. And it's still under the radar because it has that like indie dev look to it.
Which one?
Pentiment. Like
nice.
I'm not the biggest history
one.
buff, but it is something that it just has that look like, okay, like almost like old school, like turn-based, well, not really turn-based, but like the dialogue games from way back in the early PC days. I'm not talking about Oregon Trail particularly, but like along those lines, but like having something that's in like, not really medieval times, but like in that ballpark as far as overall. I just kind of want to give that a go. Yes, I know it has a weird look to it, but it's the look I like from, what was that, Kingdom Heart Deliverance, as far as like when they did for their maps and some of the menus. I kind of like that art style. So I know it's a game that everybody's going to be like, I don't even want to touch that. But, hey, it's on my radar. Something that looks like it'll be probably hours of fun, even if it isn't, AAA level or what have you. But, yeah, I definitely think I'll have fun with those titles. High on Life, of course, leading that list. Atomic Heart, definitely a very close second. And then Pentiment is just something I just want to dive into.
Yeah, Pentiment's going to be like, Pentiment reminds me of that, there's always a movie that comes out of like left field at the awards that just wins a bunch of them. And it's like a small kind of indie movie. Like it reminds me of that. Like it's going to be like completely different. The idea is different. The art style is different. I think a lot of people are going to dive in and just kind of see, what the game is. And I'm excited about the game as well. So Pong Soul, it's on you, brother.
Yeah, can I just point out that the great Kay Asante was agreeing with me there, PTK, in the chat, that you weren't giving us under the radar. Okay.
Good.
So it's not just me. It's not just me, right?
No, it's all good. It's all good. I get it.
Listen, all right. So these ones, my three do not have dates on them, but they are supposed to come out in 2022. So this is, again, they're supposed to be here, so we're gonna use them. Star Ocean, the Divine Force, coming out of Tri-Ace. Star Ocean, one of my favorite all-time JRPG franchises, has been missing for a long time. It gets lost in the shuffle. Tri-Ace has always been lost in the shuffle. They're published by Square Enix, but Star Ocean, the Divine Force, is it up to the quality of your Final Fantasies as far as graphics go? Nope, it certainly is not. In fact, the showing that they had, it looked like it could have been running in some parts on a 360. There's no question about that. But Tri-Ace, listen, if you've ever played Tri-Ace JRPGs, they are some of the best JRPGs. Like, they've always tried to get to that Final Fantasy level, but just have not. Resonance of Fate is a great JRPG. I actually just restarted playing it on 360 again. Man, the opening cinematics, the music, most of the acting is top notch usually in their games. So I am ecstatic to start continuing the Star Ocean franchise again with this latest one. And nobody's talking about it because obviously there's so many other things to talk about out there. Number 2, System Shock, the original BioShock, the game that influenced BioShock, that influenced Resident Evil in some ways, that influenced even Prey in some ways. System Shock is a game that most people have not played back in the day because it was on PC. Not everybody was PC gaming back then. But System Shock is absolutely freaking amazing, and they are remaking that game. That remake is due out this year. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It's coming out to PlayStation, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. So System Shock, oh my God, I can't wait to get my hands back on it. I've seen some videos of what they've done to it so far. It's looking really, really good. And again, a classic game that has influenced some of the biggest franchises that we've seen in the video game industry. So it is a good one to go back to kind of get that history of where we came from and where we are now. And then my final one is the Dialfield Chronicle. This was just shown earlier this year at a State of Play for Sony, but it is coming to Xbox, shockingly enough, out of Square Enix. And this is a turn-based fantasy tactics meets XCOM type game. And you know how much I love those types of games. And this is from Square. It looks ridiculously good. It's got that top-down 3D, that new look that they're going with that we saw on Octopath Traveler and such, but there's going to be a top-down version of that. This game is going to be awesome, and it's supposed to be out later this year. So the Dialfield Chronicle is another one that not a lot of people are talking about, but we've only seen it once, and that could be a reason why. So I can't wait till this gets everybody who likes those types of games radar. So those are my 3 right there, PTK.
All right, awesome, man. Appreciate chat. Appreciate you guys participating. With the great list, man. Thank you. Shout out to everybody for hanging out with us thus far. Hit the like button, man, as you guys always do.
And K Asante says that they already have a System Shock remake demo on Steam. So anybody on the PC, go check it out. He says it plays amazing and it looks really good. So cannot wait. Thank you, K Asante, for backing me up more than once tonight. Appreciate you.
Thank you, K Asante. You part of the Jesus. I'm getting sabotaged here, man. Anyway, shout out to everybody in chat, man. Thank you so much. What's up, UK lad? Once again, She Snow. Shout out, brother, hanging out with us, man, every single week. Once again, thank you guys for hanging out. So we're getting into the chat questions. Now we turn the show over to you guys. So we're going to turn the show over to you guys. Drop some questions. Anything we may have missed. The rest of the show is dedicated to just answering your questions. This is just off the cuff, kind of off the fly. If any of the fellas here on the panel or Steel got anything we didn't get to, this is kind of where we get to that additional stuff. So once again, drop those questions in the chat. So I think Sheesno did drop a question. He said, we haven't heard anything about Arc Raiders lately. Is it still coming this year? Funny enough, Mr. Steel Rain mentioned that pre-game. So I don't know if you want to jump into that, Steel.
Oh, what was it one more time? My fault.
No, you're good. You're good. So Arc Raiders, he was saying,
oh yeah,
why we haven't heard anything about it? Is it still coming this year?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm extremely excited about that game too, man, and for it to be because I think it's actually a pretty hot player-based game too, isn't it? From what I can recall, I want to see more from it, and from the little bit of research that I did on it, It doesn't seem like they've adjusted anything. And again, like they said in chat, I mean, we haven't heard anything new about it. Hopefully we do get some more showcases towards the end of the year, whether that be Xbox, whether that be anything gamer related, as we should, like a Gamescom or something like that. But I don't know, man. I definitely want to see more from it.
And that's
I'm excited for it.
That's former Battlefield devs, right? I believe.
For Archrider?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
pretty
former
sure.
Battlefield devs. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's why I was so excited for it. They got the pedigree. Yes.
Yeah. And the gameplay looked crazy. It looked like some like straight out of Orson Welles, like, you know what I mean? Like type with the dome looking like, you know, with the arms and legs and the four. It reminded me of the Incredibles, you know, the enemy that was on it. Yeah, they're crazy. It looked insane and PvP, PvE kind of thing, right? Didn't they say that's kind of what it was?
That is correct, sir.
Something along those lines. So yeah, I'd love to see more from that too. I don't know if anybody else, Fuzz, Pong, you know, want to kind of
haven't heard any like dates or anything like that, but definitely looking forward to that one. That's like one of the few free to plays that I'm definitely.
It is free to play too. I forgot about that.
It's free to play, man.
Damn, right. I don't know. It's probably no Game Pass though. Yeah, Embark. I don't know, but yeah, that very very interesting. I don't know, Pong. You want to?
Yeah, no, this is a game that Phil personally went out there and saw that studio, right? He was checking out that studio. There's a tweet from a few years ago with one of the founders of that studio. I forget the gentleman's name, but he actually flew out there, and that's how this game first got on their radar. So I cannot wait for this game. This was one of their... just even the style that they have with the marketing, it just looks fantastic. I actually want a t-shirt. They don't have any merch yet for it. But it just looks super cool. And again, the pedigree of the devs is there. Being free to play, easy to jump into. Again, it's a competitive market. Steele and I just talked about Sega's Hyenas this morning. Look, they're going to be jumping into a hugely competitive market that is high fail rate. Okay, so they got to stand out. And from what I saw, big battles, yeah, it looks like a big open, bigger battlefield type areas that you're going to be fighting in, PvP, VE. Look, that's going to be something that I'm definitely hopping into, man. So we haven't heard anything. I would not doubt that it's pushed till early next year, like a lot of things have. I just would not doubt it. But like Steele said, we do have some shows coming up. We got Gamescom. We possibly have an XO this year. That kind of stuff. So we may see something out of this game. But it'd be a perfect drop for the holidays for that free to play aspect. I think it would be great. So we'll see.
They did announce a play. They were looking for play testers in March, so that could be trying to do a lot of QA right now. For sure, or QT, a lot of quality testing going on, because there's a lot going on in this game. Like, you're shooting limbs off of some of the mechs. The game looks like a next gen only experience. I don't know if they ever clarified that, but I'm looking at some of the gameplay now for it.
It looks like definitely next gen only. Like,
I mean, you got the AI that's able to track you down. Like, they just had this dark section where they were kind of moving through a forest, and they were like, the AI was coming through and scanning for stuff, and it locked onto them, and that created a whole different moment. They got spider bots in here. They got bigger mechs.
Crazy.
Like, this game is just completely over the top. Like, I'm excited for it.
Well, as Pong says, we've seen this before, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think we need to have that discussion. A game very near and dear to this podcast is brought up quite frequently.
Why are you doing this right now, Pete?
No, we're not doing it. We're not going there. We're not going there. But either way, Pong, you're right. No, and I'm just kind of reinforcing what you said about that is a very, very tough market to get in.
Yeah.
Extremely tough. Extremely tough. There's very few games that get in there and survive. It's definitely a battle royale in there. So, we'll see. Hopefully we see more. There's other shows later this year. I know Lore Master just said might get more info at Tokyo Game Show. They have a deal with Nexon, a big Asia company. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe we get, more gameplay there and actual release date. So I just want to see more. I want to play it. I think it's going to be insane. So let's see. Any other questions? Did I miss anything? Pong, Fuzz,
I didn't see anything.
But I do have my normal racing section or racing corner talk that I got.
Zink's gonna like this. Zink is locked in. Where's Zink at? Show Zink. Let us know. Fuzz locked in, man.
Zink must be busy, so let's get it. Let's give him something to listen to, Fuzz. Let's go.
Well, no, the big thing is like a lot of people that have played Forza and love Forza, but like try to give a try to like GT7.
Right.
And just don't like the camera feel or something about it just doesn't feel right. It feels like the car is more slidey and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They finally updated the external camera on GT7 almost to a T, where it copies how the Forza camera, where they chase you, where you can see the side of the car and you can rotate around the car, unlike you used to be able to do. So a lot of people that like to have that rotation feel going into the corners, where the body roll of the car, you can kind of get more of a feel for how it comes out of the corner. It's now going to be visible in GT7. Now, with that because that most recent patch, they added that, and a lot of people were like, "Oh no, why should you give credit to Forza?" I'm like, the past, I don't know, 5 GT games didn't have an external camera that did that, and Forza's pretty much had it from day one. Yeah, I kind of think that they looked at how people, they play both games and said, hey, you should probably change this. But with that patch, they've also broke the caliper paint, which was one thing that didn't make it into Horizon 4, but is in Horizon 5. And, a lot of people love being able to change the brake caliper color. Well, right now it's stuck on lime green in GT7. Hopefully until they do a hot fix or something, hopefully next week, fingers crossed. But if you're a diehard Forza fan and have always wanted to give GT another try, now is the time, because you can have if you do the external camera, you can have all of that same situational awareness when you're in a pack of cars, or just how the car is cornering or rotating to the corner. You can get that a lot, or see that a lot better now with the new camera setup. So give it a try.
Hey, Zink is in the. I know you ain't missing no Forza talk. This is like a normal thing now. We always get a little Forza section from Fuzz. Shout out to you, Fuzz. Appreciate it, man. Once again, chat, let us know what you guys think. Drop those questions in chat. Let us know what you guys feel. I did see one from Shonsu. He said a shortage of Xbox controllers is being reported on. How many are you hoarding? What is your go-to Xbox controller? So Xbox is known to be liberal with the controllers, right? They're pretty liberal with controllers. Tons of different options. Design Lab is popping, right? We had a new update there. Mr. Steel Rain. So 2 questions in one, brother.
Yeah.
He said, how many are you hoarding? Now hoarding is a bit strong. We don't really, right? Like,
no, people hoard controllers. That's not strong. If you have more controllers than you have people in your house, you have a problem. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm guilty.
Listen, there's a such thing as a backup, right?
Look.
I mean,
no, negative. Look, this isn't back in the day, right? You had the Nintendo 64, had to have a guarantee, or the GameCube, guaranteed 4 controllers ready to go. You didn't have, maybe you had 1 or 2 backups. I can understand that. Cool. But you got people that literally got a wall of controllers, and you got it because they're cute and they look good. And I understand Xbox puts out some excellent controllers. And when you got the best controller in the gaming space, to the point where people are, other than Sony, are trying to really fight changing their controller design, because it's been proven at a scientific level that Xbox's controller is more comfortable in the hand of the typical person. I can understand why people have a lot of controllers. So I think they're hoarding them. But no, personally, I only have 4. I got my 2 Elite Series 2 controllers, which I don't do any gaming without either one of those. I got one for the wife and then one for myself. Then I also have the 2 controllers that I have for my daughters, which I gutted out the original parts and I put the Elite Series 1 parts in those controllers. So thumbsticks are all interchangeable and everything else. So those are the only controllers I have. I don't like to hoard buy electronics like that, unfortunately, or fortunately. It depends how you look at it, I guess.
All right. Well, no, that's awesome. Once again, we're not trying to judge how many controllers.
No judgment. I understand.
At the end of the day, some people, got the bit of a collector's items with the Design Lab. You can get a bit crazy, so that's pretty neat. Once again, Xbox always giving out some great options. Chat, let us know how many controllers you got. Kind of what's that go-to controller. Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. You know,
Oh,
I know
God.
you got a few. You got more than a few consoles at the house.
Yeah.
So you know,
I know my sons have at least 3 controllers each. They have the ones that came with their boxes, then their like Design Lab ones, and then their like Scuff ones or their Elite one. I got the previous Elite and the current Elite, and then I got a Xbox Pope controller. I think I have red, white, blue, and black of the new controllers. I have my Scorpio controller, my original Xbox One controller, and looking at, I think that's all the ones I have readily. Oh, and I also have a broken Design Lab one from playing Cuphead.
Oh Lord.
Uh, but for PlayStation, I got the one in white and one in black for the PS5. Like well, before I even get into the PS5 or the PlayStation controller aspect stuff, but no, for Xbox, yeah, we usually have at least a couple of them. Oh, and I got the Forza controller too, which I that one's not being touched. That one's just on its little stand, and that's as far as it goes. But yeah, I'm guilty of hoarding controllers and whatnot. But yeah, my go to is my Series 2 Elite. Um, I've knock on wood, I've been lucky. I'm on my second one, and it's only because I bought one day one when they came out, and I probably have the vibration control at max. So after 2 years of constant use, the vibration stuff went away, which some people that would be fine. That controller, I mean, technically that controller still works. It's just that there's no more force feedback or anything on it. So for me, I like having that force feedback. So I had to get a new one. But that's it for controllers on Xbox. But been pretty happy with them. It sucks that there's a shortage. I thought it was weird that they took down the Design Labs thing before the showcase, and then they had the Design Labs there, but it was to do a couple more of the camo design and then the LBG TQ design they had at the show and that they have on the site and stuff. But I really want them to do an Elite in Design Labs and just call it a day. Just
Yeah,
make
that'd
it so
be
I
so
can.
dope, bro. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I mainly use the Elite. I want it to look like some of the Design Lab ones that I made before.
Yeah.
So that's all they need to do. Heck, Design Lab a console, like make it so that way. I mean, you're guaranteed to get a Series X or Series S. You might have to wait 6 to 8 weeks, but you get it in the color you want. They do a $50 or $100 upcharge, and everybody's happy, I guess. But that's another story for another day. But it sucks if they're having a shortage. But yeah, they keep on making these controllers look good, and people are going to keep on buying them. So of course there's going to be a shortage. That they made their own problem.
Shout out to the people out there, with a ton of controllers, man, showing that love, So we'll go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. I don't know, I don't know how many consoles specifically you have, but what you.
No. I'm still rocking my original controller that came with the Series console. So Fuzzy's a broken Elite controller sounds perfect for me because I turn off the vibration. So
Yeah,
I just never have justified spending that much money, even though people tell me it's worth it. I can't do it. So I've never bought that. But no, I've had the Sonic Blue one. But that one developed stick drift just right after the warranty. So that one's gone. And then I've got one of the creation ones that I did do, and that one I have not touched yet. That's sitting up here, but I'm using the original Xbox Series X controller that came with the console and rocking the heck out of it. And it still has not gotten stick drift, which is nice. So that's all I've got for controllers. I'm not a controller hoarder at all. I think on the Xbox One I had 2, maybe 3 total, but stick drift again took out 2 of them, and then I had the camo one that I bought extra, and that was it. So yeah, no, I don't hoard controllers. I'm not like that. So it's not on me, people. It's not on me.
I actually had a ton of controllers last generation. I had about like 8 or 9 controllers, but
Oh God, see, you're part of the problem, BTK. No.
Hey, look, I mean that was last year. I only got 2 this time, so I only got 2 controllers, just one and kind of a backup. So but so I haven't really gotten to that point where I'm buying a bunch of them this generation as well. So great question, chat. Keep them coming. Let us know. Drop those questions in chat. Let us know how you guys feel. What you guys want us to talk about. You guys are controlling the remaining portion of the show, so we're just gonna kind of hang out and chill. So let me back up just a little bit, make sure I didn't miss anything. I thought I saw another question in here.
Hey, but Fuzzy, you said talking about GT earlier, but GT still got that popsicle style race, right? In third
Yeah,
person.
yeah. I mean, for the biggest thing that like I'm having a lot of fun with GT7 in the sense that I can control the grid. I can set up the
Yeah.
cars based on my garage and stuff, but it 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 it's not as it's not the type of racing I'm used to, like what we see here in the States, where you have the double file rolling starts. The way the pit stops work are
Yeah.
pretty cool, but I think the way Motorsport's going to do it for Motorsport 8
I
is
think
going to
it's,
be the much better approach. I know Motorsport's borrowing a few things from what GT's been
I
doing
mean, of
for a
course,
while with
they
the
always,
different tire compounds.
right.
So I'm really looking forward to see how, like, I've always loved how Forza gives you that more in the track feel. And
Yeah.
even before they went into depth on like the temps and things like that and the rubbering
Right.
wearing into the track, you could kind of feel like your first lap, your car might be a little bit loose.
No,
And
you
as
feel it at like going to the third lap. Oh,
Mhm.
there's a huge difference in like
Yes.
grip, the way the car hits those corners for you, especially
Yeah.
when you start getting those tracks, the treads on the track too. Like with
Mhm.
other cars, you start getting in there, like, oh man, yeah, it
And
turns into something else. Yeah.
and they've amplified they're going to amplify that even
Yep.
further. Like I honestly believe, like, the one thing you couldn't really do in Forza that from a realistic standpoint in racing is go into the marbles. Like whenever you get rubber in the track,
Right.
you have that groove where
Yep.
you're pretty much on rails.
Yep.
But the minute you step out of that, you're pretty much going to wind up in the wall. And I think that's what we're going to possibly see. So for the guy
That's gonna be so
that's
good.
trying to pass you on the outside when they really shouldn't, yeah, they're going to be punished for it, I think, this time, because if they get into the marbles and they spin, that's on them. But I think that's where they're going, and to see them take that level of reality or input that or implement that into the game, it's near perfection or as close as you can get without losing a lot of money spending money on brakes for the weekend and having a truck to take your car out to the track and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Awesome. So once again, chat, let us know. Drop those questions in the chat for us right now. Let us know, what you guys want us to talk about, what you guys want to go over. Obviously, we'll bring things up here as well as we kind of pull things out. So we said how many controllers are too many? I already answered that. So yeah, whatever you can afford, you feel like it's too many controllers. So it's completely up to you, So ultimately, so let's go ahead and I don't know. Fuzz, you got anything, Pong? Anything we missed this week? Because I know we had a bunch of, well, I know it was a bit of a slow week, but we had a couple other things, I'm sure.
Quick thing for Shiznu. Yes, 7 is much better than Sport. Two big areas that it improved on: the customization of the car and the overall look of the car. If you want to make your street car into a race car, like converting it into like a Group 3 or Group 4 or GT3 or GT4 car, you can do that and you can visually see it. And the performance level differences that you feel are very noticeable. You couldn't really do that in GT Sport. And the other thing that's a big change is going to be just the visuals. Now, I know a lot of people, when they see the replays, they're like, oh, I can't see the textures. You'll see the textures while playing it. The compression kind of washes out some of the stuff because they do have kind of like I won't say a bland palette. Like the big difference, like with Forza is a lot more vivid in the colors around the surroundings and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
GT kind of goes with more muted colors. They try to go more with the natural or pastel type of deal. And when you do the video clips, a lot of times it gets washed out. So you can see a visual improvement between the two when playing and in the replays. But for overall, when you do the race clips and you post them to the internet, yeah, they're not going to look much different, but it is a big improvement. I still lean more towards Forza, especially like looking at Horizon 5, and it's like, and then seeing what we're going to get with Motorsport. I like the direction they're going as far as the material effects and the material look and the appearance and the
But they're
reflections.
lying to you, Fuzzy. But they're all lying to you. Your game's not going to look that way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely they definitely spent a lot more time on the criticisms based on what people used to do in comparison. Like when you go into photo modes and you would see, all the nuts and bolts that you could see on like escape mode for sport in GT7. I think the Turn 10 guys are like, yeah, hold my beer. We got something for you type of deal. And
But
I
Digital
think they turned it
Foundry
up.
told me that it's not going to be true. It's not going to be true 4K 60.
Digital Foundry also said that there's no way to really get frame drops in GT7. It's only if you're in the back of the pack and it's raining. No. I race against cars with paint schemes, so I put liveries on each car that's in the track because I want it to feel like it's a real race with numbers and sponsors and so forth. Right. I could be mid-pack, bright sunny day, frame drops, especially at Daytona. Daytona is the worst for frame drops, but it happens at all tracks. But they're only driving cars with no numbers, just paint. So of course it's going to be smoother. But when you start adding other layers to the cars and things like that, it definitely puts a load on the processor and stuff. Yeah. Nothing major to like. It's unplayable. No, but you notice it, so you kind of try to prepare and not to go into the turn too hot if it starts dropping frames. So that's all I got.
All right, and shout out to Gabe, aka Cali Kid 619. Appreciate you, Gabe. Thank you so much for the question. He said, "Are you guys disappointed in Xbox and their first-party games released or not released this year?" That is a very, very controversial question. That's something that's been talked about quite a bit. Obviously, things have happened. Specifically the Xbox first party that have like dampened the year for some people, other people not so much. And we've kind of gone over that, a few times, but appreciate the question, man. We definitely gonna get into that. We're gonna throw this over to Steel Rain then, man. So where you at just with Xbox first party offering or lack of, some would say for 2022?
Am I disappointed? No. I don't get disappointed as far as games unless you get me extremely excited for a game. The game comes out, I play it, I'm having a good time, and then your end game is very subpar. I get disappointed about those types of things. Shout out to Anthem. Like, I'm always going to try to mention that game at some point because we need it back. I don't care if somebody takes it. Like, give the game to me and give me a team. I got you. It's gonna become $1 billion franchise. Don't you worry. We're gonna get 3 games out of this one. Don't you worry, guys. So I'm not necessarily disappointed that Xbox hasn't put out first party games. I mean, again, people don't want Halo, Gears, and Forza, and then when the possibility of Halo, Gears, and Forza being coming true, people complain or aren't happy or want them now all of a sudden. So it's just you can't make everybody happy. Now, do I think it's unfortunate? Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate because, again, you're relying on second and third party games while you're letting a deal go through. And in the same breath, what were you doing before 2017? Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand you didn't have studios, but if that's the case, that's why it's kind of hard for me to be disappointed because it's par for the course. Yeah, we're 5 years, 6 years going down the chain now, but we've also had a fucking global pandemic that happened. It affected a lot of different things across the world. So that's held up things for a couple years. So now what? It lands more 23, 24 when we start seeing what they put their ducats up for actually come to fruition. And if Xbox isn't doing enough for you, don't wait. Get whatever system is going to be best suffice whatever you're looking for. And I think that's where some people may get disappointed, is that they may be too influenced by trying to stay in the know or trying to be into doing what's popular. Thus far, just with Game Pass, it's an exclusive in itself, and it's becoming more apparent month by month as we get closer to 23, 24, when those first party games do hit, because at that point, it's only a cherry on top of that. Of course, a vanilla ice cream is great, but what would be even better is if you had the caramel, the extra sprinkles, the chocolate chips, the cookie dough bites in it. That would add to it, and I think that's what first party is going to end up being. So I'm not disappointed. Personally.
I get it, and I think I might be in the same boat. We talked about this, like kind of things happened over time, especially early this year. With Starfield and Redfall being moved, a lot of people, it kind of let the wind out of the sail for some people, and I'm not necessarily in the same boat. Call me what you want to call me at the end of the day. I mean, there's a ton of games to play. We all got backlogs. Like, once again, I do understand there were some games that, Starfield was a huge one. So was Redfall as well, because they seemed to be in with confidence at the time, kind of say, this is what we've nailed. Like, we've got this. The date's not a problem, so and so. And then it didn't happen. So I understand people's, reluctance and saying, look, this may be a wash 2022. There's still a lot of meat on the bone. And we talked about this during the show or after the show. The podcast before the show. When we gave our predictions, there's a lot of meat on the bone with Game Pass kind of. And I always say this, and we talked about this before. Had that Starfield Redfall situation happen in 15, 16, bro, they would be devastated. Because there's nobody to pick the ball up. At that point, it really was Halo, Forza, Gears.
Exactly. So it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's just, I don't know. Again, it just depends on your perspective. For me, if you're able to play every game that comes out and that's why you're bored, or maybe you only play AAA games, I can understand why you may be disappointed, how it may not be good enough for you, and why you might want to unsubscribe. But for people like me, for an example, I work, I got kids, the time that I do have, I'm jumping back into games that I haven't had a chance to play, like Dragon's Dogma. That's another 100+ hour game. So it's like, there's this huge, like you were saying, PTK, there's a library, there's a backlog. I would suggest for people, if there's no new games, maybe go to that old game that you played and actually beat it. There's a start. I mean, but that's the way that I look at it, right? I mean, that may not be for everybody. So, but that's why I feel that way. So,
no, absolutely, I understand. Once again, no opinion is really wrong. This is all our personal, individual situation and the way we play video games. What we enjoy. You guys may be completely opposite of what me and Steele said so far. That's completely fine. So we're gonna throw this over to Pong. Where are you at on this, man? Or are you disappointed? I mean, you've gone through different. So just disclaimer: Pong's going through different stages. So we're gonna get that out of the way. Yeah, we're gonna get that out of the way. But I'm going with you, Pong. Where you at, man? Where you at on 2022?
Well, again, it's spilled milk at this point. There's nothing that's going to change at this point. So, I mean, again, this discussion, of course, personally for me, because Starfield was my game that I've been most hyped for. I mean, it was that and Cyberpunk, right? I got Cyberpunk, spent 280 hours into it, beat the first run through. I had a great time with it, despite everybody else's problems with it, right? So I love that game. It's a top 10 game for me of all time. So for me, I got one of my games, but Starfield was next on that list. And of course that was being the biggest hype that I had going into this, right? So for this year, so personally for me, is it a disappointment I didn't get Starfield this year? Yeah, it is. It's personally a disappointment. Overall, for Microsoft and Xbox, I think Phil would say that this year was a disappointment for him and his teams, right? That a lot of things, there was things out of their control that they had no control over, that they haven't had control over for 2 years. Right. With the pandemic. And then you got the war that pushed Stalker and all that kind of stuff. So there's been games that they planned on having that they didn't get. But I don't think that Phil would say, nah, we're not disappointed. Of course you're disappointed. You don't go invest this much money into an ecosystem and expect to have an entire year, the second year of a generation of a new console, to not have one first party AAA game come out. But at the same time, as a gamer, outside of Starfield, my personal disappointment, no, I've got everything to play. I've got too much to play. I'm overwhelmed. And again, we can talk about October. We can just talk about the month of October and what it's looking right now, right? Yeah. Look, what they're doing with Game Pass kind of changes the whole dynamic as for us as gamers, right? Again, if this was back in the day where we got maybe 4 or 5 total games a year, like it would be like horrible. Like it would be like, oh my God, I got nothing left to play. But now, no, I've got hundreds of games, especially for me as a grazer. I got hundreds of games to play, right? So I'm good. I'm totally good. We got plenty to do here, okay? But I just think overall, if you just want to take a step back, look at it from the satellite view, there's tons of stuff out of their control that they would have no control over. But to come, I don't think anybody would have guessed had you said, had you come out and said, look, Microsoft in 2022, second year of the new generation, new consoles, is going to have 0 first party titles, and you see how many studios they have, I don't think most people would have ever believed you. They would have been like 0. You mean like you mean like 1 or 2? No, I mean 0. No, that ain't gonna happen, right? That's the way most people would have been, and I think Phil and his team never saw this coming. As much as they've gone through, as much as they had on their plate, and all the turmoil that they've had to go through over the past couple of years, and that's everybody, that's every studio, that's every company. I don't think they ever would have said that would have happened this year, no matter what. But no, it is what it is. It's spilt milk. I got plenty to play. This second half of the year is absolutely insane. The games are going to be coming nonstop. As fast as it was, PTK, when we started the year off, right? And we were talking about the acquisition, right? And we were talking about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Think about that. We were like, man, when's E3 going to get here? Right. Man, in a blink of an eye, it's gone. So next year is going to come. And next year, let me tell you, next year,
about to be.
Yeah, from the get-go, from the jump next year, we are going to be having games come out, and the first-party studios already, without the Activision Blizzard deal, you're looking at potentially one every 2 months starting next year. So, look, we're good. Everything's going to be fine. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Good. No, once again, shout out chat. Let us know how you guys feel about that. That was a phenomenal question. Phenomenal. We've talked about that in great length here. What's up, Mr. Joanna Dark, hanging out with us? Appreciate you, man. Shout out, man. Showing love, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us, brother. So hope you enjoying the show. Once again, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here. You know, you want to be a part of what we got going on every Saturday at the Shop Podcast, man. Show some love, man. Appreciate you guys. So more questions, guys. Drop some questions in the chat. Let us know. You guys are officially running the show. Shout out to everybody watching us live. So anything else that we didn't cover? Pong, Steel, anything we missed? Anything else out there?
Oh, that Fidelity FX stuff.
Okay.
Was it VRS 2.0 or something along those lines? Like
FSR 2.0?
FSR,
yeah, they're going to have that now in the game stack, and basically was it GDX2 or GDX? Basically, the dev kits now will have easier access to that. So whether it's a game that's already in development or upcoming games, they'll be able to use some more of the RDNA 2 tools or goodies in upcoming games a lot easier now. So I know people have been like, oh, where's the tools? What are the tools doing? It's now making it a lot easier, or it's getting a lot closer to having it where all the devs will have that in hand for whatever they're working on or any upcoming project. So I can't wait to see how that improves visuals on things here soon, especially for like the Series S. Like I think that's where some of the shortcomings that some of the devs have talked about will kind of, I won't say they'll be completely wiped, but it'll definitely make it a good bit easier to be able to get the ray tracing and the 60 frames out of the 1080 setup. So
as long as it's used, that's all that matters, Fuzzy. At the end of the day, there's already games that are using Naraka Blade Point that Steel and I have been rocking out on, and a lot of people have been. Their devs came out and said they're already using FSR, and they're waiting on the final code for FSR 2.0, and they're definitely going to implement it. So there is some studios outside of first party that are attempting to use this. I just hope that all the first party studios, especially like Starfield, Redfall next year, are implementing this into their games to make sure that the performance levels are as good as can be. Let's put it that way. Again, this will level a lot of the playing field. And so I really hope that they start implementing and using it, especially the first party stuff. I want to see that for sure. Awesome. It's going to be great. Yeah.
Awesome. So more tools the better. Obviously, these things are going to, as the devs, as these tools mature, things are going to get better. These engines mature, they're going to get better, more efficient, more streamlined, get better performance. All of those things are going to happen. So we're moving on here, man. So once again, shout out everybody in chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Joe in the Dark, appreciate you. I wonder if Deathloop on Xbox. That's a great question. I don't know if you know about that, Fuzz.
I would hope so, given that the amount of time before it's released. Like now, the only thing I will say that I'm a little concerned about is that we might not see Deathloop this year. I'm hoping Sony didn't put the 2-year exclusive in the contract. But I would have to believe, because I remember seeing I think it was the head of that studio or that particular Arcane studio say that they're going to have a pleasant surprise for the the Xbox camp when it does come to console, as far as whether it be updates and things. And that was shortly after they added the photo mode on the PlayStation and stuff. So I'm hoping they're going to take the time and implement those things, because while it's not available on the console, it should definitely, those types of things should definitely be looked at, and hopefully that'll be at launch when it does.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. And speaking of Boba Fett, shout out Boba Fett Gaming hanging out. Speaking of Naraka, I want to talk a little bit about that. Now I downloaded. I haven't played it yet. Now still, you've talked a ton about it. We was talking pregame about it. So one chat, who's playing it? How you guys are enjoying it? Let us know in the chat how you guys are enjoying the game. And then I just kind of want to go around the panel who's dove in and play. I haven't played, like I said, I just downloaded it yesterday. So I'm probably going to get on and play it tonight. But still, you enjoying this?
Yeah, man. I played Naraka when it originally came out. I think it was more so in beta because I don't have it on Steam anymore, apparently. But I think when I originally played it, it was in beta. Typically, when I play games overall, if it's not with a controller, I'm not playing it, even if it's on PC, regardless. So the controller support at the time wasn't the greatest, so it kind of turned me off. Although I was interested in what I was getting at the time. Now with it coming to Xbox and seemingly this has really breathed new life into the game, because one, over the year that it's been out, the devs have 24 Entertainment has supported this game in such a way where you can tell that they care. There's certain things that are implemented, especially with like the fact that the game comes to Xbox is one thing. Okay. Look, it's another battle royale game. You can call it whatever you want. It still is different enough to not be like any other battle royale game that's out there. So that's one thing that makes it unique. You got that Eastern influence. Again, we want to see more of that come over from that Eastern market. But what I mean by that, like, why does the game work so well on Xbox? Like, to the point to where, because it's in PC Game Pass also, and I was playing on PC Game Pass and Pong was playing on the box, and we joined seamlessly. Like, there was no problems. We were joining in and out of matches with no problems. Usually when you get these kind of off the wall games, you experience some issues like, oh, it's taking a minute. We can't connect. Even Battlefield earlier on, Pong, remember, like, we couldn't connect.
Oh, heck yeah.
It was just giving us problems. And even when we got on the box, like, we still were running into issues regardless, but it's still like, and that's
I was in the customization. I was customizing my character, and Steele invited me. Look, I don't know why. Again, 2022. I don't know why devs don't take cues from other devs or don't figure this stuff out. Just quality of life stuff. I was in the customer creation mode, and I was messing with my character. Steele invites me. It pops up a little notification box. Would you like to join Steele? I click join. It does not take me out of my character creation. I joined seamlessly while I was still doing the character creation. That's just quality of life stuff that just seemingly passes over much bigger devs' heads, but it was fantastic. It was seamless, like Steele was saying. Sorry, Steele.
Yeah, and then no, you're good. And then like the overall experience, like especially on Xbox, the gameplay is really smooth. I know Spawn was experiencing some network issues earlier. There could have just been a spike. I feel like this game is getting a lot more traction than it's gotten previously. Which is funny because, you know, console people act like they don't want PC games, and then PC gamers act like they don't want console games. But then when you mesh the two, you notice that there's a lot of it. There's a big audience there all of a sudden. But it seems to be doing this game a lot of justice, man. It's a melee focused game. It's all about timing. For those, I'll give you a little tip here. Whenever you get into the game, because it does really well with giving you a tutorial up front, saying, hey, this is kind of the basics, and it forces you into tutorial. You can't do anything else before you get through this tutorial. Then after the tutorial, you can follow up and queue into an advanced tutorial, which basically teaches you how to play the game, what to look for, what to expect, and they kind of guide you through there. And then not only that, to add the cherry on top, as you're playing, like let's say you're just playing by yourself, first time, you're trying to get used to things, it mixes in bots. I know a lot of people are, bragging about their wins and their their kills and everything right now. But what the game does, it autofills with bots to kind of ease you into the experience. And as you get better, it'll drop out bots and fill with actual people. And there is a vast difference. The bots, sometimes, a lot of the time, you'll end up, if you get them close to a wall or something, they'll get caught up. You get a person close to a wall, you're going to mess around and get parried or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of up and downs to it. There's a big casual side to it where you can just jump in, have a good time. And then there's also a skill gap there. And the way that the matchmaking works, there is a tier system, basically. And as you level up, I'd imagine you're going to go against better players. There's just a lot of great things going for it. It's really appealing to me, being more of a melee kind of. I'm into that. I'm into the Eastern culture, that whole Asian flags that we got going on. I'm playing with a chick. She's a badass chick with devil horns all above her head, and swings these big ass swords, and has a blade that comes out and rotates on the player and does a clean uppercut. Like, there's just so much to the game that's enticing and appealing. I definitely suggest it's on Game Pass. Like, if you have it, try it. At least get through the tutorial. The advanced tutorial, even then, that's not even 30 minutes of your time. And if it's not worth it, delete it. If it is, give it a good run or two on the actual Battle Royale mode itself. Look, I also forgot, you don't have to play Battle Royale either. They have this, bro. They have this leaderboard mode that I was playing yesterday where you and a buddy, right? Y'all start off on two different sides of a leaderboard. And for y'all to win, you have to fight 1v1 against other people on your side of the leaderboard and kind of make it down the bracket. And then if y'all both get it to the end, then that's how y'all win. But if you don't, then you have to fight more people, vice versa. So, and then they also have an all-out fight mode where if you just want to get in, just fight some folks, you can do that. Learn your skills, learn the characters, just beat up people. I think it's called Bloodbath. You can only queue it solo right now. I think I haven't tried it with Pong. I don't think it'll let me, but it's a good time, man. It's worth trying, I think. Personally.
Awesome. And once again, being in Game Pass, that's just a cherry on top. So the fact that we're getting it there, and I mean that's one of those games that sounds like it's doing a lot of the little things right. And I think Pong is going to follow that up. And I think he kind of was already leaning that direction. So I'm seeing, like you said, a lot of small quality of life stuff that you don't see in other games, that are kind of in that same vein. So I like to see that already. You got to have a strong foundation if you're going to last in that genre. One, you got to be different. That's the biggest thing. Two, you got to have a strong foundation. So it looks like they're getting all the small things right. They're doing the work. Yeah. So just follow up on that, Pong. I know you kind of were leaning that way anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anybody who's listened to me on any of my podcasts for a long time knows I don't play battle royales. Okay, I don't like battle royales. I've never liked any of them. I've tried them, just never got into them. This is the first one that I actually do enjoy playing. And I think it's got to do with the melee combat, like Steele was bringing up. There's some range combat too. You can pick up muskets, you can pick up crossbows, bows, all that kind of stuff as well. But you're going to get down and dirty with people, and it's going to be melee heavy. And it's just a blast. And again, anybody, go find the developer. I don't have him popped up here on Twitter, but one of the main devs on the team is all over Twitter right now. He is super excited. Like, the energy levels for this team off the charts. Shout out to Sarah Bond, whoever went over there and found this game and brought it to Xbox, because he is so excited to have this launching on consoles. And look, let's not forget, during the announcement trailer for Xbox 2, they talked about they introduced dual wielding, which changed it up, because Steele and I were playing on the Insider program. So basically it was the PC, kind of the beta. It wasn't the beta version, but it was the PC version. It didn't have dual wielding yet. And they introduced dual wielding right on launch. And man, that is a lot of fun. But second of all, they're bringing a campaign. They're going to bring a single player campaign to this game, and they're looking to expand it even more based upon the fan feedback they get, but they've already got it set up. So when that launches, that's going to be a whole nother experience. And again, this is a free to play game. So is there monetization to hell? Yeah. Again, that's what we get nowadays, but is it pay to win? No, it's not necessarily pay to win at all. It's all cosmetics, like skins for the weapons, all your outfits, all that kind of stuff. that you normally do come to expect nowadays. They've got a battle pass already set up in there
I
if you
was
want to
just gonna
buy into
ask
the battle
about
pass.
that,
Yeah. If you want to buy into the battle pass, they got a free battle pass that you level up, you still gain stuff, but then of course they've got the premium battle pass as well along with it. These guys are on top of their game. I'm really enjoying what they're doing. Again, I already talked about how they came out right away and said, hey, we've already got FSR implemented. We're planning on implementing FSR 2.0 as soon as it becomes available. On the PC side, they got DLSS already implemented on it. These guys know what they're doing over there. And again, I got to give shout out to whoever in the Xbox team went out and found these. This is what a lot of us have been talking about, the Eastern style games, bringing that flavor over to Xbox. And this is how you do it. You find one of these studios that is up and coming, that has this type of game that's going to work perfect with Game Pass, with everything you got going on Xbox. And let me tell you, Steel and I, literally, it's 3 seconds to find a match on duos today. Like 3 seconds. Like it was like bam, you're starting a match. That's like crazy. Countdowns, ready to rock and roll. So that means a lot of people are playing this. Seen a ton of people on Twitter posting about this. Yeah, they're posting their bot wins out the gate because they probably don't realize they're playing against bots, but that's besides the point. People are enjoying this game. Yeah, the melee portion of this is different from other battle royale, so it does stand out from the crowd. And the character models and designs, the different costumes you can actually wear, beautiful, well done with that Eastern really crisp detail that we just don't always get over here. It really does separate itself. Like I said, not a battle royale guy in any way, gal in any battle royale. I was combining the two any way, shape, or form. But I'm playing this and I'm having a great time. I played it solo. I played it with Steel. I played it with trios the other night with Psychonauts and Jasper. Shout out Jasper, who's in the chat. Played with them. We were having a good time. Just a great game. Like Steel said, it's in Game Pass. If you got Game Pass, download it. And there's actually a perk pack already. If you're a Game Pass subscriber as well, you can go pick up some free perks for this game. So they are all in on the Xbox side. Loving to see it. Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
So once again, I haven't jumped in. I'm definitely jumping in when we get off of here for sure, because I gotta be, I gotta see what this is all about. I've seen, and me and Steel were talking about this pre-game here, pre-show. I've seen like YouTubers play this game on PC for months now, and I didn't realize like hearing it very sweaty, very sweaty. So I know, and I know. Shout out, I believe Boba Fett said something about sweaty lobbies incoming as well. So that goes to show you that skill gap. So anytime there is a distinct skill gap. Look at Apex. Apex is the same way.
Facts.
Anytime there's a distinct skill gap, there's always going to be a drop off like that. So, as casual as it is, as you get a little bit better, you might run into some of those guys. But Fuzz, have you played it? Have you got in on it?
No, I haven't tried it yet, and I don't think I've even set it for download. Like it was one of those that I was hesitant to try it on the Steam Deck because I know latency and whatnot. So I was like, I'm not going to torture myself because then I'll get a negative feel for the game, and it will be it's not the true experience of the game. But it's something I'll definitely wind up downloading. Awesome. It has that look. Like from the moment I saw it, I'm like, it's one of those things where, like, if we look back at Bleeding Edge, like, I love a couple of the characters in that game, but I'm not an arena shooter type of person. I love the melee combat, and I was like, those guys should make like when we were talking about like Killer Instinct or something like that. Like, hey, pull those characters, some of those characters from that, and put them in Killer Instinct. But the samurai guy that was in that game,
he was dope. Yeah.
That was like my favorite character, and then the second one was the guitar guy.
He was good. Yeah,
those two were my favorite, and I'm like, this has all of that look as far as the melee aspect of it, and I definitely want to give it a try. But I was not going to torture myself on the portable that's going via Wi-Fi. I got to have it downloaded natively on my console. But it will definitely be up for down. Well, actually, I probably should set it for the download queue now while I'm at it.
It's not a big game. The game's only like 20 gigs
20
or so.
22, 23 gigs, somewhere in that range. So I downloaded it last night for sure. I got home and I was like, you know what? I almost forgot. I was telling I actually showed my son the trailer for the game.
Right.
He's like, oh, what is this? So I was like, let me make sure I download this when I get to the crib. So I made sure I did. So I'll probably be on that tonight. But once again, chat, let us know what you guys' experience has been with this game. You know, once again, these are those chess moves that Pong talks about, that you know, obviously still talks about, Fuzz talks about, that, and it's a small thing, but it's a big thing at the same time, because who knows what this game is capable of being. You already got a solid foundation, and you can stand on that. A lot of games try and do the theatric stuff in this space. They want to be big. I want to show out and have all these cool features, but they don't have the infrastructure like to maintain that, right? So just glad to see the studio doing it the right way, challenging, you know, obviously not challenging Fortnite, but just doing something different in that space, right? That's kind of what we all want to see. Eastern influence on Xbox. We love that. We got to have that. So we need more of that for sure. But let's keep it going, man. Once again, chat, you guys are running the show for the next 20, 30 minutes or so. So, you know, drop those questions in chat. Make sure we're, you know, on top of that. So let me see. Let me go back just a little bit here and see if there's anything else. Mr. Joanna Dark said maybe Gamescom can be the place they announce it. I don't remember. Anybody remember what he was talking about specifically?
Maybe Arc Riders.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was that what he was talking about?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Or Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders. Yeah, Arc Raiders.
Speaking of Gamescom, any expectations for Gamescom? Anybody?
Man, oh man, it's so hard to determine, bro, because it's like you get, again, just kind of tying it back in with Naraka a little bit. It's like you get those types of announcements that can kind of sway your gaming time in a certain direction. There could be anything announced. They can announce at Gamescom that Gotham Knights is going to be coming to Game Pass in October. That could be happening. Who knows? They could do the same thing and say Saints Row is coming to Game Pass when it releases. That could happen. Yeah. I mean, again, if you have no first party to show, you have to boast with something. If it's going to be something that's everywhere, why not make sure that the people who are invested are taken care of? It's nothing but a good look. It's like a dealer making sure they, you know, your people got their good product. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. When you answer when you come ringing, I got a little something for you. So, it's called Game Pass.
Now I feel you, and once again, this is good. This goes back to my point. Still, remember what I said earlier about had certain things happened 4 or 5 years ago, they'd be crippled.
Yeah,
they'd be like debilitated, and they the fact that jump, you know, grabbing all these studios, because people forget prior to buying Bethesda, people forget they went out and got like 6 studios. They got a bulk, you know, that's where they got Playground and some of the other studios from. So, and that was kind of that was a big deal then, obviously, up until Bethesda. So they've done a lot the last 3-4 years, man. Like a lot of this has been released the last 3 or 4. So.
And mind you, it's all based off the back of the 3 games that people tried to complain about the most. And now the little brother of the gaming industry has seemingly made its place known and is a threat to these people who value their plastic the most.
Too much. No, I absolutely. I mean, and Pong, and I know you're gonna jump in because I'm gonna throw you the same question, Pong. Just about Gamescom and like anything there for you. I mean, what Speculation Town is open all year, so
24/7. Man, we're doing tours. Look, Gamescom. It just depends. Again, if it's so hard to judge because we know that it's possible that Microsoft and Xbox are shifting their strategy when it comes to these shows on the fly as we speak.
This year, right?
Yeah, hence why we got that 12-month plan roadmap at E3, not E3 Xbox Bethesda Showcase. So if they are shifting that plan permanently and they're going to start using these smaller shows, not to drop like 10 megatons or anything like that, but use them a little bit more than they used to show off stuff that maybe they didn't have ready or they weren't prepared or they did this with the box of 12 months, just didn't have it. So I think a lot goes into what they're going to do here going with these smaller shows. And I think it's potentially a spot where you could get a surprise or two, like Steele was talking about. Now, if they're going to come back with XO, that changes the narrative as well. You still
got VGAs as well.
VGAs, which we know they're coming at the VGAs. Again, Hellblade 2 will be there. That's a given now. That's like that's where they show off Hellblade 2. I would not doubt that we see that. Nah, not yet, brother. Not yet. I know everybody wants it. Not yet.
Yeah.
Nah, not yet. Not
They'll
yet.
give us a little clip.
Compulsion or In Exile teaser at the VJs to go along with Hellblade 2. Fable will be next year.
You think that's where they announce Avowed then? Like, should really show you like a
no, because the VJs aren't a place where you're going to showcase something. We could see gameplay there from Avowed. I would not doubt it's not going to be a big breakdown.
We saw Hellblade too. I mean, it was a short, you know.
It was, but it wasn't like a Starfield breakdown, right? We weren't getting that big showcase. But yeah, could we see a gameplay trailer there for Avowed? Sure, absolutely. The VGAs could be Hellblade 2 and Avowed this year. Absolutely. I definitely think that. Just to kind of fill in that gap, because that's what they're doing here with the 12-month plan. I'm all for it. I think the 12-month plan every E3 is a great thing for Microsoft, as long as they have the other couple, 2, 3 smaller shows where they give us the hopes and dreams and fill us in on some of the other stuff they got working, because that's important too, to keep the hype going. So I definitely think Gamescom, I'm not expecting anything. Yeah. I'm going to be sitting back and curiously watching it to see if they shift, if we do get a surprise or two. Then I can sit back and go, okay, all right, so they are planning to start using these smaller shows as a different place to kind of show off this stuff. But Gamescom, generally speaking, hasn't been one of those places where we've seen it before, but this year might be different. So I'm going to be ultra curious when Gamescom rolls around. Tokyo Game Show too, as well. That has been a place that has been dominated by Minecraft, over the past couple years. But Xbox has always had a presence there. I am ultra curious to see if that starts shifting now with the new momentum they got in the East. We're seeing the sales start picking up. I just wonder if a couple of those, and we know they're working with the indie devs over there too, a lot of them. Sarah Bond's come out and talked about how much they've increased that over there. Wonder if Tokyo Game Show becomes a place where we get some Eastern surprises, not just Minecraft, not just a small indie game. Because Xbox has been one of the major players in Tokyo Games, but it's always been that general kind of feel. Whereas this year, going forward, might be a little more. We might get a little bit more celebration over there in the East. I'm really hoping for that as well.
I'm hoping for that as well too. So we'll see. Fuzz, I want you to get in on this before we get to that. Zinc in there.
I'm about to say,
the hot take. The hot take. Pong.
There you go, Pong.
There you go. That boy done served it up right over the plate. We're gonna get in there. I'll let Pong run away with that one, obviously. We gonna pass the Pong on that one. But no, I want to make sure we get Fuzz in on this. The Gamescom Fuzz. Gamescom has always been tricky. That's the one thing that I think we've all kind of said. Like, it's a little shaky. It's a little different event than like the general showcase and or E3. It's a lot more, like you just don't know what could come. So where you at on Gamescom?
Usually the biggest thing that we always see at Gamescom is some sort of hardware and some sort of like software or service related thing that gets unveiled or updated. So I normally expect like some sort of updated controller. Like I was hoping like when they did pull down the whole design labs that, until like Gamescom, it'd be like, oh, and Elite controllers are in there, or hey, the Elite 3 is now available and day one in, design labs or something along those lines. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's something design labs related, or maybe that Keystone hardware that's been talked about, like not the stuff that's in the TVs, but the stuff for those that don't already have a 2022 Samsung TV or whatever, that will be kind of shown there. And I'm kind of expecting it. I was hoping they would have did the Game Pass family plan stuff at the regular showcase, or the showcase that just passed, the Xbox Bethesda one. I'm hoping they, do, or at least update us or give us like, pricing details or availability details here soon on the Game Pass family plan. Cause I got two boys that, they have their own computers and their own consoles, and I can only game share with one. So it'd be nice for that family plan to kind of get unveiled. But outside of that, like you guys have mentioned, it's unlimited possibilities when it comes to everything that they have. Like some people threw shade at Matt Booty for having like that Excel spreadsheet of, we got so many games we got to figure out how to slot them in. And we're like, well, what about 2022? Well, that's fine. Yeah. My disappointment for 2022 is that Forza didn't come out this year as far as motorsport, but hey, let that thing cook as long as it needs to have all the bells and whistles that we expect out of that. And I can't wait for that. But if they pull something else off that Excel list and like Pong was saying, show a trailer for Avowed, or maybe we actually get to see gameplay of Kojima's game, because I still think, what is that, Overdose, I think is the game
it
that
was
got
Overdose,
leaked.
Yeah.
I still think that that's the one that is the Xbox game, and it'd be awfully nice to kind of see more about it and figure out how the cloud and all that integrates with that. But yeah, I think we get some sort of and one more thing kind of trailer, even though they probably won't say that
Yeah.
famous term. But I think something that is one of the projects that's already been talked about but haven't been seen gets shown at Gamescom. Just one of them. I don't think they do much more than that. And then maybe Game Pass Family Plan and a new controller or something updated for like a Series 3, in the works kind of thing. That's it.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get to this hot take. We need to address this. So he served it right over the plate, right down the middle.
Why? Man, Zinc, love you, brother. I just don't know where some of the wording comes from. Get a pass for Gamescom. Look, nobody expects anything much from Gamescom out of any of these companies, but here's what I will say is that we already know how Sony does their shows. They've been doing the same thing for the past 3, 4 years now, actually.
Yeah,
and so we know how they market their games. They have state of plays, and they usually have one bigger showcase each year. And that's what we come to expect from Sony. Now, what I will say is that if you want to call it a pass, Sony not being at Gamescom or somewhere else, like having an E3 time, they only had that small state of play. Guess what? It's because they have nowhere near the content that Xbox does now. That's why, because they don't have 23 studios like Xbox does. They simply just don't have it anymore. So listen, the old generations are gone. So again, giving Sony a pass on things is gone from a standpoint of, hey, well, it's just Sony. Well, guess what? They can only do with what they've got, and they don't have the content that Xbox does. Why we say that Xbox should have some smaller shows on top is because they have so much to show us. And we want to all see it. That's the only reason why we talk about extra shows for Xbox outside of the norm, because they just, again, there's an avalanche coming, man. It starts next year, right? It starts next year. This next 12 months, the roadmap they gave us for at E3, not E3, was incredible. Like, it's ridiculous. Like I said, without Activision Blizzard, we're looking at one AAA game every 2 months potentially already. So that's the only reason why I would say some people would say it's a pass, because number one, Sony doesn't do these shows anymore. They don't care about these shows outside of like the VGAs every once and having maybe a small presence here or there with like a Stray or whatever at a Keighley show. They just don't care because they do their state of plays and they have one big showcase. We already know. It's just like Nintendo. Nintendo does their directs. We know what we're going to get out of them. That's how it is. So we just wait for when they announce that they're going to have their next show. Whereas Xbox has and always been a big supporter of the shows like E3, like Tokyo Game Show, right? Like the VGAs. They've already been there. So yes, and I understand that it's the second largest marketing event, right? No, because we're not, listen, other thing. It's not about being critical. Sony does exactly, they took the Nintendo gameplay book, right? It works for Nintendo to do their directs, even though people come out of them disappointed, and you hear the criticism. You hear the criticism for Sony state of plays when it isn't what their fan base wants at all. You hear the criticism, oh, we got no first party stuff, or this was stupid, it was all indie games. We've heard that criticism. So they definitely get their criticism. They're just going by a different playbook. But we know that Phil and his team really do appreciate the bigger shows out there, and they do generally use them. Like Fuzzy just said, Gamescom, though, normally service and hardware based, right? That's normally where those announcements come from. That's why I said I'll be curious to see if they do slip in a bigger announcement or something surprises us game wise, because they've got so much now. They've got so much. So again, if you want criticism of Sony, you get plenty of it from all of us here on the panel when necessary. You definitely get the Sony criticism, right? I don't own a PlayStation 5 right now. Why? Because they don't have anything that enticed me enough. And I couldn't justify the budget for a PlayStation 5 when they didn't have the content I wanted to play on their system. So again, I'm all Xbox right now. Flat out, I'll own a PlayStation 5 later on, but right now they haven't supplied anything that says I absolutely must go get a PlayStation 5. Whereas Xbox is giving me tons just out of Game Pass, right? So that's the difference. That's all. It's just two different playing fields now. They're playing two different games right now than they used to. So
no, it's a great point. Great point,
Yeah.
man. So, no passes given here. We try and give everybody. We give Xbox a lot of grief. Go back, check the archives. It's not uncommon that we jump on Xbox about certain things that they're doing, not doing, whatever the case may be. So we spread it pretty evenly around here. Even Nintendo, we wanted a few people that get on Nintendo. We wanted a few podcasts to get on Nintendo. So, we definitely don't leave anybody out, right, Pong? I would say everybody gets their fair share.
No, everybody does. Everybody does. Again, we could go on for a whole show on Nintendo and what they haven't done for me for the past 3 decades, right? So again, that's all known. And again, other Zinc, it is sometimes when you are invested in something heavily, not everybody, because of course you are 100% Xbox and you are full go, nothing but positivity, which is cool, man. That's your deal. But for a lot of people, when you love something, generally speaking, you sometimes have more criticism for that thing because you want that thing to be even better than it already is, right? So a lot of times that's why it sounds that way, because we're experiencing it. And because we love this ecosystem, we love what Xbox is doing. Sometimes our focus is there. So that's when that's when a criticism will come out, because we just want that so much. And we see something where it can improve because we're so invested in that thing, right? Yeah. Whereas with PlayStation 5 right now, I can criticize PlayStation all day long, but I'm not invested in it either, right? So at the same time, I just don't care as much like what they're doing right now. I want to see PlayStation compete. I want to see PlayStation go acquire more studios. I want to see PlayStation go do what they do best. And I want to see them start doing what Game Pass is doing on Xbox's side. I want them day and date. I've been saying that forever. I want them PC day and date, right? I want them to make that change because I want I want that competition always to put the pressure on Xbox to continue to do what they've been doing, which is giving me the best value in gaming overall, bar none, period. Point blank.
And once again, I see what you're saying, Zink, but I can only talk about this particular show in this panel.
Yeah.
I don't speak for the general media, and we understand.
I'll speak for the general media.
Hey, man. Hey, look, you want criticism of the general media? Come check out Living Split Screen every Saturday. Steele and I usually have smoke for the media every single week, almost.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, just to answer the question, like just directly, the reason that Sony doesn't get the flack that anybody else does, when you're the number 7 in brand recognition, what you need to fight for. That's exactly why Sony pulled out of doing game events. Why should I compete with you when people are going to recognize me regardless? Sony is known for PlayStation, and they're also known for doing hardware overall. You've had Walkmans, you've had CD players, you've had DVD players, you've had a Sony TV possibly, you've had Sony stereo systems possibly. So it's like people give them a pass for that. I mean, you go ask 10 strangers on the street, they're going to tell you that it's PlayStation. It doesn't matter what it is. That's why they get that pass. I don't think it's acceptable. And as the market, people don't like to talk about it because Sony is very critical. You can't talk negative on Sony. If you do, you get ostracized, you get criticized. People talk about you. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't play games if you don't talk about Sony in a good light. That's the way that it's looked at. And that's what brand recognition does. You want another good example? Look at Jordan. But I grew up in an era where if you were not like now where it's kind of whatever, but I grew up in an era where if you didn't have Jordans on, you weren't really relevant. Now, was that mean that I cared? No, but I was more of an Adidas kid, but that was a thing. And it's the same thing with like Ferraris or Lamborghinis or Audis or whatever your favorite car brand is. Like, everybody's going to have a preference. Everybody's going to look at things a certain way, and whatever's the more popular thing is going to get that type of attention. But it's funny to me that PlayStation decides to bow out when Xbox starts providing them competition. The very exact thing that the consumer has been asking for. or our hardcore audience, quote unquote, has been asking for. Hey, Xbox, give us some competition. Where's the games at? You have no games. You only have Halo, Gears, and Forza. Oh, now when I say Fables in development, when I got a Valve coming, when I got a Starfield coming, when I spend the biggest deal in gaming to help grow the industry, now it's a problem and you want to bow out. And I just don't think Sony respects their consumer base the same way that other brands do. Nintendo, regardless of how you feel, they still respect the consumer base. They give you games. You always have something coming out.
They don't give you the ones you want, but
that's
they
the
give you
us though. That's the us though.
Nope,
but they can still release Pokemon games and everybody can be completely happy. They can release Arceus to test run a game that they're going to release at the end of this year that has the co-op actually in it. So, and Xbox is giving you more ways to play than ever before, while Sony's still trying to figure those things out. Again, brand recognition gives you a lot of leeway. But my question is, how long can you truly ride on that? And what are the moves you're going to make to make sure that you stay relevant? Because if this is the game that you're going to play, like people say all the time, look at the difference between how much Microsoft is worth and now Xbox is now a pillar to Microsoft. $80 billion in gaming, biggest they've ever done in Microsoft's history. Windows hasn't even got that type. I'm sure they spent more than that at this point to make sure everything is good, but it just puts things in perspective, right? At least to me.
No, absolutely. And Fuzz, I don't know if you want to dive in on that.
No, Sony gets the pass because, like, when it comes to the gaming media, and a lot of them will, give pushback that this isn't true, but we've seen the websites or whatnot that give a negative review on the game, and then miraculously they no longer get early copies of those games. They're on some sort of blacklist at that point, and then they have to wait until the day of release to be able to release their article, which is not ideal for some of these gaming media sites, because you want to have that day release window as far as the review, as opposed to like a couple of days later when you actually walk through the game or complete the game and whatnot. But Sony is I think until Xbox has really grabbed a majority of the mind share in the States, maybe get closer to 50-50 in Europe, and continue to claw away in the East, I think that's when the media will finally start to do those negative articles, because then from a Google standpoint, and as far as relevancy on certain words or the I guess basically the amount of hits that they will get for certain articles or titles will start to change, where it's like, oh, everything is more in favor of Xbox as opposed to PlayStation. So for right now, yeah, they get a pass. Not for me, because at this point, them not showing up at the show is kind of like, the kid that didn't like that everybody else was being able to kick a home run and decided to take the ball and go home type of deal. It's like, seriously, come on, just either play the game or stay home for good. But I don't want them to go out of business, but I do want them to at least show up. And that's kind of like where that energy for the 11-11-22 comes from, because that was like the old Sony, almost like the share your games type of deal. But now they don't seem like they're walking with that same stride. They're walking with that stride that they had in PS3 era, where not the end of PS3, like the beginning of PS3. Get your second job to get this console. No, you can't afford $600 for a console? Shame on you, type of thing. Like, that's the energy that they're exuding right now, and I don't like it, and I want them to change. But the media is the last ones that'll call them out. Like I said, they want that, they want their bread buttered type of deal, so they can get those reviews out there, get those advertising dollars from those clicks and stuff like that. Right. So
what's going to prove that point too, Fuzzy, is if they come out this year and announce PSVR 2 is coming out either this winter, this holiday, or the beginning of next year. Because that's only pitching to the hard. You're not pitching to nobody that doesn't have a PlayStation.
Exactly. Because I mean, now the only exception I will say on that, and this is one of those things where I want better from Sony. I want them to make it more compatible with PC from the get-go. No third-party software to make it usable with PC. Make it like competitive for the Vive. Make it competitive for other sets out there. That will help make VR more mainstream.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about VR on just PlayStation. Eventually,
Right.
like for all of those that want VR on Xbox, if not saying that PlayStation needs to do that to help Xbox, but just for to help VR in general, make it
Right.
available on PC. Just like they need to make, like what Pong and Steve were saying earlier, they need to make the games on PC day and date. Like that needs to happen. Like I
Why?
would love to have GT on PC as opposed to the console, because then I don't have to worry about the monetization. I can just customize the cars the way I want and not have to worry. But then, I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason why they want people to pay them, real dollars, but it is what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show on that one, man. It has been an amazing show. Chat was lit, as you guys are every single week, man. Shout out to everybody who came out, watched the show live, join the family, subscribe to the show, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys, man, so much. Always coming and hanging out. We do have to do our goodbyes before we step out, man.
Ooh.
Shout out to you, Sean, too, as well. We'll start with a guest of honor, Mr. Steel Rain. I do want to say thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming through, hanging out. It is always a good time, man. We have so much fun before the show starts. During the show, super knowledgeable. Do me a favor, Chad. If you're a fan of the show here, go follow Steel. Go follow Living Split Screen. Show those guys some love. Obviously, the other half of the show is here as well. So, please go show some love, man. It's a phenomenal show. They do a great job. They have you there 3-4 hours every single Saturday. Get your day started the right way with some good debate, good topics, things like that. So go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, Steel.
Yeah, man, you can find me Steel Rain I, the T's a 7. Look, the easiest way, just type it into Google. You'll find all my links there. If not, you want to break it down a little bit easier, you got these different social networks. You like to actually play games, come holler at me. I'm on Xbox, I'm on PC, Steam, Twitter. Hit me up in the DMs, hit me up in the messages. I'm not one of these guys that like to hide from people, and I'll write you back, man. You send me an invite or you jump into the party and it's open, I'll welcome you with open arms.
Why are you personally attacking me right now?
And oh my God, here he goes. No, but be for real though, man, because I know people do that. I'll tell you what it is, man. If I'm busy, I'll let you know. If not, then come on, let's chop it up in this game. Other than that, PTK, again, Fuzzy, it's always a good time when I'm able to sit down with both of you guys. Fuzzy especially, like, man, Fuzzy, you're getting me back excited again for motorsport. I was excited for Horizon. Horizon's kind of in this weird place for me, and maybe it's going to change when Hot Wheels comes out. Because they definitely got it down to the point to where Horizon, I don't have to go do the in-between thing that they had going cross country. I could just do strictly races. So they've won me on that. But hopefully Hot Wheels brings a little bit more life into it. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's the lack of more customization being there. I don't understand why there's not more added on in this when you've made the game so freeing, where it's like you're putting out there that the street is what you're trying to go for, but you're not fully committing to street. It's just weird to me. But either way, but yeah, man, always an exciting time. And then, of course, my brother from another, Living Split Screen, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, every Saturday morning, non-console centric platform. We talk about everything that's going on in the gaming industry in total. And like I like to say, we take that RTS view, real-time strategy, pulling ourselves out of the world, looking at the darker crevices in the map, pulling those resources together, and just having an honest conversation, passionate conversation, keeping it live, raw, and uncut. And man, it's the age of accessibility. And my partner from Partner Crime is going to tell you about what it's also the age of here in a little bit. So appreciate you, PTK.
Man, shout out to Steel Rain. Appreciate you, brother. You family here. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, man. Anytime, I always hit up Steel. If he's not too busy, he'll always pull up. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Once again, chat, do yourself a favor. Go follow Steel. Go follow Living Split Screen. Do all of that good stuff. You already know. Shout out to K Asante. Appreciate you, bro, for hanging out, man. Hope you enjoyed the show. Shout out Andrew as well. Thank you, man. So, but actually, that was a great segue, Steel. See, this is just how you guys can tell you do this all the time. Segue right into Pong. So, Pong, let us know what's going on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Great show tonight, gentlemen. PTK, Fuzzy, love you guys. Thanks again for being here every Saturday night. And it's just a nice place to come to, man. I just love being here, chatting with you about this great industry. And of course, having my brother from another Steel Rain on board makes it extra special. So thank you, Steel, for dropping on in here. Let me hear that familiar voice that I hear hours upon hours on the weekends. No, it was great. We had great conversations, great topics tonight. PTK and chat, you all were absolutely freaking fire tonight as well, coming in with the good questions and obviously being engaged. Appreciate all of you. Nothing but love and respect for being here each and every week as well. And of course, you know the drill. You can find me Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. You can find me, of course, sometimes on Tuesdays over at the Xbox Factor podcast. This week I will not be there, but you got to check out Mr. Boomstick. Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. Of course, you know that already. Be there. It's all good things green. He has an amazing panel. No matter how many of the regulars are there, he always brings in substitutes if necessary. Steel has been there plenty of times now as well. But Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time, Xbox Factor podcast Tuesdays. And then Thursday nights, it's PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. Another two-man show, unless we do have a guest from time to time. Listen, we're building something great over there. Fun's got a great channel going, and it's really awesome on Thursday nights. We've got just a nice community that's happening over there. So join us every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. I will say this week is going to be later because of me work being real life. I got to pay the bills, so we'll be obviously putting that out there in advance. But normally it's 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, Thursday nights over on Fun Speculations channel. Back there on Friday nights for Xbox Ultimate. If you have not experienced Xbox Ultimate, I suggest you do so one Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Listen, you never know where the topics are going to go. You never know who's going to be there on panel. We could have 9 people or we could have 5 people, right? That's how it works over there. But we have a great time, and man, you just got to show up. It's a great Friday night. Xbox Ultimate again, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. And then, like my hype man already said, Living Split Screen every Saturday morning. We are in season 2. We are coming up on episode 62, right, Steel? I think we're on 62. Man. Yeah, so be there every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time, BST time, whatever you want to say. 3+ hours, normally 4 now. Steel and I just chatting, and we get down and dirty with the topics. We go on rants. We have the chat involved. The chat brings something up, much like PTK does at the end of this show. We just do it throughout the show. If somebody says a comment and we want to get down and dirty with that, we're going to go left and we're going to talk about it. Look, that's how we do it there. It's free flowing. It's a fun time. We're on mission 1K, so we got to get some help. So please tell a friend, bring a friend, whatever the case may be, but be there every Saturday morning. Otherwise, one last personal request for the community. Been doing this every show that I'm on so far. Listen, continued thoughts, prayers, energy for Assassin Lupa, amazing member of this community, just an incredible person, a bright light in this world, and we need more of those. We don't have any updates, but she is extended family. She is somebody I consider a friend, and that a lot of us have podcasted and played games with consider a friend. Just keep her in your head and try to send some goodwill her way. As soon as we get updates, Fun Speculation or one of the many members of this community, I'm sure will be tweeting it out to let everybody know what's going on with her, but she does need that right now, so please continue to do so. Otherwise, it's the golden age of gaming, people. We try to keep telling you this. We're going to keep telling you this. No better time than now to be a gamer ever. And take that from somebody who's been gaming since the 70s on Pong when I was a little kid, right? This is the best time ever. So just get out there, enjoy it, play what you love what you play. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you all real soon.
Appreciate you, Pong. The battery of the podcast. My complete polar opposite apparently on the podcast as well. Shout out to Pong, always bringing the energy, man. Appreciate you, brother. Every single week you always bring energy, always bring something different to the show, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of this little thing we call the Shop Podcast, brother. Thank you so much. So, last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. How you doing, brother? Wrap this thing up for us, G.
Always awesome being on here with you guys. Love when we have Steel on here as well, man. Always love hearing your takes and your views on everything gaming. It's just awesome to talk to you about this stuff. Thanks to the chat for everybody that showed up and threw some questions out there and interacted with us. It was awesome having you guys out here tonight. But like I said, I always love being on here with PTK and Pong. This is my go-to relaxed time just before winding down, playing some games later on tonight type of deal. But for anybody that wants to hear my ramblings on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. For those of you that play Horizon, don't hesitate to join, the Fuzz Underground Club. Like Sean Su said in the chat, he definitely needs more challenges. I need to get back to Horizon 5. I've been taking a little bit of a hiatus, playing a lot of other little games in between. But yeah, definitely join up if you're playing Horizon 5 and just want to be part of a club to get some extra points and things like that. Just sign up, Fuzz Underground. For anybody that wants to see my other places where you may find me, FSP on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Breakfast with Boom 10 a.m. on Fridays Eastern Standard Time, Xbox Ultimate at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday evenings, and then right back here Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the shop. Thank you guys.
Appreciate everybody. And once again, last but not least, Mr. PTK Blam, the host with the most. Appreciate you guys' support. Like I said, same place, same time next week. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's been an amazing show. We got great topics, great support. Appreciate you guys. If you're coming in late, shout out to Mav. Appreciate you, brother. Go ahead and rewatch that show. I'll make sure the link is out here very soon. So you can just go ahead and click the link, rewatch the show if you want. But once again, appreciate you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Later.